They never caught me on a bike. Fastest I've ever been is 191. A helicopter flies over me. Bop, bop, downshifted 2 gears and take off.
So you and I know each other from Coleman.
Yes.
At one point, I remember you telling me about you got ripped off. And I remember you telling me you were young.
Yeah.
Because I'll never forget.
I was 17.
Because I'll never forget the face he made. He said, I'm sitting, I was like, whatever, 130, 140 pounds. He said, I'm sitting at the fucking defense table, scared to fucking death like this.
Yeah, they're offering a life sentence. That was it. Life. Then it came down to 30. And the lawyer's like, listen, man, you got a home invasion with great bodily harm, but animal cruelty. He's like,
well, so what happened with that? Or something happened before that?
remember when I said I worked my way up the ladder?
Yeah.
Well, I got with the biggest guy that was in Marion County at the time, and he fronted me a quarter brick, and my dumb ass turned around and fronted that.
What's a quarter brick of what?
9 ounces of powder.
Of powder, okay.
Yeah. So when I fronted it, this was on a Friday, I go over to Daytona with Jerry and all the guys, we're partying and everything. Well, I come back Monday, and I call him. I'm trying to call him. He's not answering. I'm like, huh. So I know this little chick that knew him and shit. I call. I was like, hey, you seen Doug? And said, yeah, he's been to the motel. He's partying all weekend. I was like, oh, really? I said, come over here. So she came over and called from her phone. And he picked up right away. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? Oh, well, what's up? I said, you tell me. Nothing. I said, I need to get that bread. He's like, I ain't got it. What do you mean you ain't got it? He's like, I ain't got it. I said, well, you need to come up with it. He said, nah. He said, you're hit. Basically, I mean, in those words,
Well, how much was it?
$7,200. Here I am, 17 years old. I just got that on the arm.
Yeah.
So I called my dude. I'm like, hey, man, I need to talk to you. He's like, what's up? I went over to his house and told him, I was like, you know what you gave me? I fucked up in front of that. And dude said, I'm fucked. You know what I mean? I'll pay you back. I said, but I'm gonna straighten this out. I'm going to go get him. He said, I'll tell you what. You go get him and make it right. You don't owe me a penny. Just make sure that you get your name right.
Right.
All right. So I go over. I find out where he lives, because he had moved. He got a nice little house with a fence around it out in the woods. So I start staking it out for a couple of days, and this one night I'm like, it's over. So I got probably about 1.5 grams and $1 bill of powder. I'm sitting in the woods. I got a Mossberg 750 12 gauge pistol grip pump. I'm snorting powder, waiting for him to come home. I see him pull in. He lets his 2 dogs out. He had 2 pits. He goes in the backyard. They piss and everything. Goes back in. I'm watching him. He sits down, starts watching TV and shit. I hopped over the fence. There was a half a center block. He had a grill sitting on half center block. So I moved the grill. And I had the shotgun in this hand. I grabbed the center brick in this one. And I did a complete 360 and slung it through this sliding glass door. And when I went in, both his dogs hopped up. I just, boom, boom. And I jumped over the couch, hit him right in the mouth, and knocked a couple of teeth out. And I said, fuck who? What money? And no, don't kill me. I said, come on, let's go open the safe up. So he opened up the safe, and I ended up tying him up. His old lady was tied up. She was freaking out, too.
Do you have a mask on?
No. No. At the time, I was young, I was dumb,
Yeah.
So I tell him, I said, listen, man, I'm gonna let you live, but you should have never done this in the first place. And really, it fucked him because I got over 10 grand in cash, 5 pounds of trees, and he still had a couple ounces of and a bunch of jewelry. I had a pillowcase. I just filled shit up and left. Well, they get untied. He calls the cops. Cops come in the house. This dumb son of a bitch has got 5 pounds of trees I didn't know about up under in the spare bedroom up underneath the bed. So they charge him with that. Well, I don't think he told on me. 2 days go by, and I lived out off Sharps Ferry, which is out in the woods. I pull out in my driveway, and I look about a quarter mile down the road, and there's about 8 cop cars just lined up. And I said, oh, fuck. And I look in the rear view, and they're lined up back there, too. So I'm like, this ain't good. So I rip my glasses off and throw them in the center console, and about that time, a helicopter flies over me. I said, holy shit, and they just swarm me. You Ellis Cook, you Ellis Cook. I said, no, my name's such and such. I gave them a fake name. I said, my name's Josh Jenkins. And they're like, well, what's your birthday? I said, 1876. And they run it, and they're like, yeah, this is him. Because back then, they didn't have technology like that.
Yeah, they couldn't pull up your photo in the cruisers, right?
But I had a tattoo on my arm that I got in detention center. It said, Mom. Pick and poke. You can tell I was a gangster then. I had a tattoo. Detective pulls up and he says, lift his right sleeve and see if there's a tattoo there. He rips it up and he says, Mom. He said, get him out. Man, they snatched me right through the window. They didn't open the door or nothing. Snatched through the window, slammed me down. I get to the county, and my bond was $684,000. I got home invasion, attempted murder, aggravated assault with a firearm, and 2 counts of animal cruelty leading to death. So I'm sitting there for
What did
months.
What did he tell them you robbed him for? Just cash, or he didn't say?
He said I went in there to rob him. That's it.
Yeah, but he knew who you were.
Yes.
I know this guy.
He said I've known him from the neighborhood. You know, we grew up together. Whatever. He just came in and robbed me.
Yeah.
He didn't say the whole.
No. Of course.
So I'm sitting there. I got a public defender first. So this guy's saying, "Hey man, they're offering your life sentence. Honestly, you're probably going to end up with it." So and now I'm in.
How
there for
old
a
are
few
you?
months. I just turned 18. I turned 18 in the county. Yeah, they had me on the adult side because they adjudicated me as an adult because it was violent charges and shit. And I had a pass with the juvenile. So all of a sudden, there's a lawyer named Jack Monroe, and he was the baddest thing around. You know, he was beating murder trial, big dope cases, everything. He calls me. They say, "Hey, you got a lawyer visit." I'm like, "Oh, great, here we go, fucking public defender." You know, I walk in there, and Jack's sitting there with a briefcase, and he opens it up and he says, "Get that greasy shit out of my briefcase." And yeah, a Big Mac and some fries. He said, "And that's from Jerry." I said, "Appreciate that." He's like, "Jerry hired me to take your case." He gave him 40 grand. Now, this is back in 90.
Who? I mean,
92,
the only
93.
thing you mentioned Jerry is just that he's one of the big guys in the area.
Yeah, he was the plug.
Okay.
I mean, the blacks went to him white. When blacks and Spanish are going to a white dude, you know he's plugged in.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he gave him 40 grand.
That's
to
fucking
take my
huge.
case. Now, this is back in 92, 93.
Like you almost, we've interviewed a ton of guys. Almost nobody does the guy come and bail you out or do anything. Very seldomly.
But there's some. Let me rewind a little bit. The reason he does this is not only
He doesn't want you to cooperate against him.
I did some shit for him too.
Oh, okay.
He had gotten in some trouble, shot a house up. They were going to testify against him, and I was in the house when they came in. And I was waiting for them. The two people, the guy and girl, were going to testify against my buddy.
Right.
They didn't know, but I was sitting in the spare bedroom. They come in, and they sit on the couch, they're watching TV. And I come out. I was masked up that time. I sat on the couch, and I said, "Listen, this is what's going to go down. You guys are not going to testify against him."
Right.
"Well, we've already said," I said, I just
Right.
did one of those. And, "Okay." I said, "I'm serious, you know." Long story short, they dropped the charges on him. So he sort of,
Felt like he really owed you.
yeah. So like he gets me the lawyer. We were going through the case, and he's like, "Listen, man, it's not looking good. It's really not." He said, "I might be able to get you down to 20, but I don't think I can go any lower than that." I said, "Man, I can't take 20 years. I'm 18 years old.
Yeah,
man.
18.
140 pounds with a brick in my pocket. What do I look like going to prison? You know what I mean?" So I heard some shit that happened on the street, you know, through word of mouth, whatever. Make long story short, we go to trial, pick my jury, everything. The lawyer says, "Hey, man, can we get 15? Prosecutor says, "Absolutely not, 30. Tell them to take 30 or you're going to get life." What's the difference?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At 18 years old,
That's
30,
what it
30
feels
your
like.
life.
30 feels like life. So
Fuck yeah, especially in state.
Yeah.
Shit, that's a wrap. It's over with. You'll be farting dust. So we go to trial, and about halfway through it, they took a recess, you know, just like second day. And we go in the next morning, we're sitting there, and I'm looking at them, and I said, "Man, they look weird." Him and his old lady were just staring down at their shoes, you know, the whole time. Any other time, they were leaning back in the seat, has a little cocky ass face
So
on.
this is the guy who's about to testify.
Yes.
What was his name?
Doug.
Doug. So Doug's about to testify. He's cocky up until that day.
Oh, yeah, because I could just tell his whole demeanor changed. And I was like, I'm looking at him. So they call him up to the stand. And the prosecutor goes through the whole, you know, "What's your name? Da-da-da, did this happen?" He says, "Is that the man that robbed you right there?" He's like, he looked at me and goes, "I mean, I thought I was pretty sure." He said, but now I'm not 100% sure. And right then, the fucking detectives, everybody, what the fuck? The judge starts hitting the gavel. "Hold on, order." He says, 5-minute recess. Counsel in my office now, in my chambers now. My lawyer leans over. He said, "Got him." Exactly what he said. "We got him." He walks in there, comes back out, and he winks at me. Here I am. I'm a kid, you know. I'm spooked. I'm sitting at the table like this. He walks by me, he winks at me, sits down, he leans back, puts his arm around me. He says, "Watch this."
Right.
Next thing you know, prosecutor said, "Your Honor, we'd like to, you know, withdraw all charges." I walked out of the courtroom. I walked out of the
Feeling pretty
courtroom.
good?
Yeah, I did it. They said, "Well, you can come back to the county and sign and get your shit, or you can walk out of the courtroom." I'm like, "Fuck that. You have my commissary and all that, you know."
Right.
I walked right out of the courtroom. And there were some boys waiting for me out there, you know, Jerry and them. It
Right.
was a good feeling.
Yeah.
It was. that started a pretty good relationship between us.
Between you and Jerry.
Wait, you didn't
say
didn't stop?
Yeah, you didn't say, whew, I dodged a bullet. I'm putting this life by. That's when you went ahead and got your GED and you went to college and became a CPA.
I was more like putting on a bulletproof vest. You couldn't tell me shit. You know what I mean? I just beat him at trial.
Yeah.
And I got the plug in my pocket, and he loves me to death. I can do whatever I want.
And is this guy older than you?
He's about 5 or 6 years older.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, he's probably about 8 years older.
Yeah. So it's
And
definitely.
I met his younger brother first. Me and him were tight.
Yeah.
And then he's got an older brother named Jimmy too. But I was running around with Brian, doing little errands and shit like that. And I would go down with Brian and pick up shit from Miami, from the Cubans. And that's how I got in with Jerry. We go down there and pick up like 5 bricks at a time. And then we get to 10, and got to 20. And he trusts me. Mm-hmm. I'd come back. We go to the motel down there, and we put the money in like the return vent. It's in the wall.
Right.
We'd go out to the car. We'd leave. We were supposed to be gone for an hour. Sometimes we just pull around and just watch the room.
Yeah.
You can see like a Lincoln or a Mercedes pull up. 2 big-ass guys hop out, walk in with a duffel bag, walk right out. Then we come in, grab powder, have the return vent, hop on the interstate.
I was going to say the other one is where you park the car. You park the car, you leave the keys, and then you go do something that somebody comes and gets the car and leaves, and then they return the car a couple hours later or the next day. And then
we got to where we're doing the gas tanks. Mm-hmm. Half of it was real gas, half of it was blocked off with dope.
Right.
So we would get to the house, pull in the garage, and it was like a goddamn NASCAR pit crew. A couple guys would come out, drop it down, drop another one up, and go on. And we'd either have the money and take that one, and they'd have the dope and put it up there. That was probably the slickest one I saw. That was pretty good.
So what happened? What happened after that? You're 18 years old now. You're gung ho, just all in, 100%. Like if you were,
you couldn't tell me nothing. I was fucking out of both pant legs. I had all the dope, all the money. The chicks loved me. I was hanging out. It was a good life at the time. And
how much? And this is just powder.
Yeah, this is just powder.
Yeah. Ice wasn't big at the time.
I messed with powder for 20-something years. That was my baby. That's how I made my money.
Okay.
I did trees too, quite a bit. Like I had a buddy, what we started doing is I moved back down to Fort Pierce, and me and my buddy Dom had a beach house right in Fort Pierce. It was 4,700 square feet, 3 stories right on the ocean, like a half mile from the inlet, Fort Pierce Inlet. We would either fly over to Texas and we'd go to Brownsville, and he'd pick up like 200 pounds of weed, and I was getting 3 bricks at a time, and we'd take Greyhound back. Now, this is before 9/11.
Yeah.
It was sweet. I mean, you didn't have to worry about cops, none of that shit. They're driving you back. It was a long trip, but
yeah,
it was damn near bulletproof. Until my stepbrother gets in the game and goes over there with my buddy Dom, and they had to hold up for a couple of days, so they were in the motel waiting for things to happen, come across the border or whatever. And he had a blunt roach in his fucking backpack like a dummy. And the duffel bag was all wrapped up, vacuum seal wrapped up, had lube, it had everything, ground up pepper.
Dogs aren't going to catch it.
But the same number you had for the backpack was on the duffel bag. So the dog walks by at the bus station, walk right past the damn duffel bag. He's on the payphone, and he got his backpack sitting down here, and the dog alerts to it. So of course they search the thing, find the blunt roach, look at the number, and they go find the duffel bag. So they charge him 200 pounds of trees, and that's not shit for Texas, really, So they ended up getting charged as youthful offenders. They had to go to a boot camp, and then got put on probation. But after that, we would fly over there and then get a rental back. Well, one time, not Dom, but a buddy of ours that was living with, he ended up moving in with us. His mom and dad had a lot of money. They just bought him a brand new Lexus. He's like, man, let's go. I want to drive. And Dom's like, man, I don't feel like going. Well, one of us had to go because we're the only 2 that knew the people over there. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go over there. We drive over there, get everything right. 250 pounds of trees, had 6 bricks. I drive all the way through Texas. I get to Louisiana. Right before I get to Louisiana, I was tired. It's like probably 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, listen, man, don't speed, whatever you do. And I said, I won't. It felt like no sooner than I go to sleep. He's like, we're getting pulled over. I wake up and all I see is fucking lights. I'm freaking out. I know the car's loaded. I said, what the fuck did you do? He's like, I don't know. Cop walks up. He says, roll down your window. He reached in and snatched a radar detector off the dash. He says, give me your ID. Goes back. That was it. I said, what the fuck's that about? He's like, bro, I wasn't speeding, I swear. He comes back, and it was like a $400 ticket. Now, this is back in like 2000, maybe 99. And that was a pretty good ticket. It was against the law to have a speed detecting device. Like, you weren't allowed to have radar detectors and shit in Louisiana.
Oh, you guys didn't know that.
I didn't know nothing about that, you know? Here we are, fucking trunks loaded, goddamn car sitting like this. And cop didn't even faze him. He didn't ask to search it or nothing. Now, that was spooky, too.
Yeah.
That was probably...
More than happy to pay $400 ticket.
What? Oh, thank you, sir. You know, get up out of here. Yeah.
So what happened? What happened after the Lexus? You almost get caught with the guy with the Lexus.
Yeah.
So you're basically fishing all the time.
We're living in a beach house, and
I seen pictures of he had pictures sent in of this fucking chick that he's at dinner with. He's got a couple different places. He's with this fucking chick, a chick that, listen, I mean, she was so over the top. I had to go and ask other people. I was like, bro, come on, like this chick's got to be this. She ain't with Cook. That's not right. And something's right. And they're like, bro, he's a dope boy. He's got money. Some women, they love hanging out with those guys. And I was like, yeah, because that wasn't right. Something's wrong there.
I can tell you like this. It was a 3-story, and the top story is mine. And I had a spiral staircase going up to the loft. And it was my bedroom. Then when you walk in, there was a shower, a 10-person jacuzzi, and then a bathroom with a little bidet in it, you know, and his and her sinks. And every morning, whenever we wake up, Don would be like, you up? And I'd look over the loft, and it's a kitchen right there. And I'd be like, yeah. I said, hey, grab a blunt, come up. And we'd roll one up and go out the sliding glass door, and that's the beach right there.
Right.
And there'd be, 2 to 6, 8 chicks down there just sunning. And they're like, oh, you guys awake? We've been waiting for you. You want us to come cook you something to eat? I'm here, and I pass it. I look at it. I'm like, man, this is life, ain't it? It was tough, So anyway, I'm living there. We lived there for probably a year. And something happened. Big fight broke out at this party. And my buddy, he's in the passenger seat. I'm in the middle seat. After the fight happens, it happens inside. It's one of the dudes that's with us. He ends up taking off on this dude and beats him down real bad. Well, when we're running out to the truck, he's got 2 car fulls of people that pulling up that are on his side. So I'm like, man, we got to get the fuck out of here. So I'm trying to get the keys in the truck, my buddy's truck, and he's in the passenger side, and they're running up trying to swing on us and shit. And I back up, and he throws his beer bottle and hits the windshield. I was like, oh, yeah. So I drive over him and hit him. I break his leg, but at the same time, my buddy's got a beer bottle, and when he went to swing at him, he hits the door jamb and catches this dude right here. And I mean, it looked like a damn butcher knife hit him. Just wide open. There's blood all down the side of the truck and everything. Well, it ended up hitting the artery, and it got infected. The dude was in the hospital for like 3 weeks, and they're trying to book somebody. They're trying to get us with attempted murder and assault with a vehicle, all kinds of crazy shit. So I left. I'm left from Fort Pierce, and I moved back up to Lake City. I went to live with my cousins up there because I got some family up there. They're doing good. They're straight and narrow. They own businesses and everything. And my dad's like, man, you got to get the fuck out of here. You're going to go back to prison. I said, yeah.
So are they looking for you, or they don't know who to? Oh, okay, they do know.
They're looking. Yeah, they want me for questioning bad.
Right.
mean, they're going all around. I was just trying to hide. That's all I was doing. I was just trying to stay out of sight, out of mind. And what better way than to go up to the sticks? And Lake City is the sticks. It's the country. It's actually Swanee County is where it's at. So I moved up there for like a year, and my cousin's dating this guy. She wasn't married to him yet, but he owned a couple pine straw businesses. And he's a multi-millionaire. And I'm thinking, oh, fucking pine needles? When I used to get in trouble, I used to be like, hey, go rake the yard. I used to have to rake out the pine needles and burn them. Here's this motherfucker. He's got 40,000 acres leased between Florida and Georgia. Well, he'll go in, and once the trees get about 6 years old, he'll tell them, listen, I'm going to mow everything, get it all cleaned up. I want the first 2 rakes for free. After that, I'm going to pay you $35 an acre. And landowner's like, shit, he's cleaning up my thing. He's fertilizing my trees. It's a win-win. Because when you get all the shrubs and little oaks and everything out of there, the pine trees get all the nutrients and sun and everything, so they grow more. So I'm working for him. I'm ended up moving up to Georgia.
What does he do with the pine needles? He sells
them? Bale it. Yeah, just like mulch. They bale the shit. And he was going through 120 semis a week during the rush from one place, and then 90 from another business. And they sell it for like $210 a bale. It's crazy. Lowe's, Home Depot and shit up in like the Carolinas and Georgia. And then he had some contracts out in California with these golf courses. And they would buy like 50 trailers.
That sounds like Donovan Donovan Davis. Like his family owns. They sell dirt.
Yeah.
Like that's just one of those things. You're like, what the fuck is that? You're selling dirt. We sell dirt.
Yeah.
We go in. We get a contract. We dig up as much dirt and just sell it. Like that doesn't even seem like a thing.
Dump truck after dump truck. But I'm up there running the business for him, and he's paying me good. I got a house he's paying for and everything. I got a brand new F-250 that I'm moving equipment for, and I get to hunt. All these landowners are like, hey, I don't care if you kill a deer here and there on my property, I'm riding around at night drunk as shit, shooting out of the window of the truck. It's against the law, but I mean, I killed some monsters at nighttime. Everybody up, they're sitting in a tree stand at, 13 degrees, and here I am sitting in a truck with the heat on, riding around. I look down the row of pines, and you see a big-ass buck down there. I put it in park, roll the window down. But the funniest thing is Coca-Cola has a reservation up there. It's 80,000 acres. It's a biology thing, and they have quail and deer on there in Turkey, and it's a study. Well, we would drive down there and see these monster-ass deer, and sometimes we kill them, right? Well, it was pouring down rain one day, and Hunter and another dude were riding through there, and there's a big-ass 10-point. It was an old deer. It was like over 10 years old, and that's real old for a deer. They shot him. He was blind out of one eye. He missed most of his teeth. It was like 250 pounds. It was a big-ass 10-point. They loaded him up, and they're like, fuck, let's go get another one. They're like, nah, let's wait. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Well, sure enough, it starts raining, and they go out there, and he sees a 10-point. He shoots it, throws the gas can out to mark it, and then go drop the guns off. Hunter drives him back and drops the guy off so he can go run and grab the deer and pull it up. Well, he hops the fence, runs out there, and about the time he grabs the deer, the Secret Service hops up. Get on the ground. At the time, the vice president was there quail hunting. Nobody knew. They heard the gunshot go off. They all fucking flocked over there, found a deer, and they just waited for him to come there. So he ended up he got like a $750 fine, took his gun. I mean, that was some serious shit. The Secret Service jumped out on you. He was spooked.
How long did you hang out there?
I lived there for about a little over a year and a half, and it was perfect. I lived right off Lake Seminole. I walked out of my backyard, and I was right on the lake. I had a dock right there. I had a little boat. I mean, I was living life.
So why aren't you still there? What happened?
I ended up, my cousin had a lot of money, right? And he liked to smoke crack. So
right.
I was like, I got you. Don't trip, So he'd give me like $300 a day. I'd go spend $100, pocket $200, and he'd smoke some, and all of a sudden he's freaking out. He's putting a little pulse thing. I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. He's eating Xanax. I'm like, no, he needs a couple more Crown. He drink a couple more Crown and Coke, and he'd go on home and start over the next day. Well, my cousins ended up finding out, and I wasn't gonna tell on him. You know what I mean? So I didn't explain everything. They thought I was the bad guy. I was doing all this. So I just, okay, you're right. I moved back down south.
Right.
And picked up where I left off at. A buddy of mine named Josh, he was growing trees, and I mean, he had a green thumb. He was getting powder from this Haitian dude at Lake Worth. And I was over there at the house a couple times. I never really talked to him about, hey, what's up, shit like that. But I was buying a lot of powder for Josh. All the powder Josh was getting, I was pretty much getting from him and selling. Well, a dude ended up robbing Josh, got him for like 40 pounds of trees. So I knew a lot of strippers and shit back in the day. So I was like, hey, if you hear anybody in here talking about they made a lick or got some real good, let me know. And it wasn't like 3 days. This chick called me. She's like, there's this dude up here talking about he got a bunch of, he caught somebody slipping, da-da-da. I said, well, do me a favor. I said, see if you can get an ounce from him or even a quarter or whatever. Because if you grow, you know what your shit looks like.
Yeah.
There's no doubt, She ended up, I think she got like a half ounce, whatever it was. I go up there, I get it from her. And I'm like, damn, this looks like his shit. Well, I bring it back to him. I show him. He starts flipping. That's my shit. That's my. I was like, well, we'll get him. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, I'm going to kill this motherfucker. So I tell the chick, I'm like, listen, you want to make a couple grand real quick? And she's like, what's up? I need you to get this dude to the motel. The next time he comes in, just get him in the motel, pretend like you left your purse out in the car or whatever. Go out there, get your purse, throw the key, the card, right outside the door.
Mm-hmm.
So about a week and a half goes by, and she called, and she's like, hey, your boy's here. And I was like, she's like, I need that money. I said, I got you, don't trip. So I tell Josh, he's like, I'm going to kill him. I said, all right, cool, don't worry, I'm going to give you a chance. So make long story short, after like 2 o'clock, club closed, whatever, she gets me to the motel, does exactly what I say. We run up in there. I tell her, get dressed, get the fuck out of here, I slap her a little bit to make it look good, So She gets dressed and hauls ass. I said, handle your business. So I go outside. I'm going to let him do what he does. Like 5 minutes goes by. I hear him screaming and shit. I'm like, the fuck? I go in there. I'm like, what are you going to do? He's like, man, he said it wasn't him. I said, the fucker, that's your what do you do?
Right.
I said, so I zip time. I said, come on, we're going to your house. He grabbed his wallet. Said, is this your address? Oh, man, and my baby's mama. Man, fuck your baby's mama. You want to rob me? We're going to rob you. We go there, and sure enough, there's like 20 pounds of weed left, like 10 grand cash, a bunch of powder, a bunch of pills. Dude had, I think it was like 800 Roxys. I mean, it was a good lick.
Right.
Yeah. It backfired on dude bad, But the dude that he was getting from out of Lake Worth heard what I did for him, and he pulled me up. He saw me leaving, and he waited for me because he had left 20 minutes before me. And when I left, he'd been waiting for me because he wanted to talk to me. He like beep, beep, beep. I pull over.
Where is this?
At my buddy Josh's house.
Okay, so later at your buddy's.
Like
okay.
2 weeks after that.
Okay.
And I'm like, what's up? And he's like, I want you to work for me. I said, man, I can't cut my buddy's throat. I'm not like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I grew up with this dude. I'm not going to backstab him like that. And I said, listen, everything, I like it the way it is. He said, he's not going to get nothing from me no more. I said, why? He said, if he won't stand up for his own shit, I know he's not going to stand up for mine. And I was like, well, I mean, he just choked a little bit. You know what I mean? He's not cut like that. He wasn't trying to catch a body over. He's like, it's not the point. It's the game. If you're not going to stick up for your own money, I know you're not going to stick up for mine. So I called Josh. I said, hey, I need to talk to you. And I went back and I said, listen, I put it all down to him. He's like, that's fine. I'm cool. I need to get out of it anyway. So I called Tony. I was like, all right, I'll meet you. He's like, all right, meet me at Rachel's tomorrow, which Rachel's, the bar, the club, strip club.
Okay.
It's down at Palm Beach. It's classy. But we go in there and I walk in. He's got a bottle of Grey Goose. That's what he used to like drinking. Belvedere. He liked drinking Belvedere. I like drinking Grey Goose. And he had 2 fillets sitting there. We're eating steak. The chicks are dancing and shit. And he's like, I got something out in the truck for you. I was like, all right. It was a 9-piece. It was a quarter brick. And he said, call me when you're ready. I called him the next day. And I was like, he's like, damn, it's like that. And it started a good relationship for about 2.5 years. Made a lot of money with him.
No problems?
No. I mean, here and there, a couple, but not many. Because I messed with chicks that were bartenders, strippers, guys that were bouncers, a couple guys managed pizza places. That was a money-making machine. And pizza places, it's like all of them are doing dope. Any restaurants, they're all. I had a chick that was a manager at Longhorn. She was killing it. She made so much money.
And this is you're supplying them, and they're basically what, selling to staff or just in general?
Everybody.
Okay.
They don't. Their friends, everybody that's working there, whoever.
And it looks legit. They got a job. They're going into work every day. People stop by the restaurant and they leave anyway. So it's not like
it's not suspicious at
all.
all.
It's not like the neighbors are like, there's fucking 20 people coming in and out of this house every single day.
Exactly.
And the owner never leaves.
Exactly. And the best part about it was like it'd be in a strip mall, so there's so much traffic there. They would pull in the back, and my buddy'd serve them right out the back. No one even knows because they weren't even getting out of the car. He's walking out with like something looks like a calzone in a bag or something, or a couple subs, and it's 3-4 ounces of maybe half a pound, whatever it was. It's like a McDonald's drive-thru. They're just coming and going, and we did real good off that.
How does that go bad?
A guy named Rich that I was selling dope to, he ends up selling to a confidential informant, and I didn't know. Well, I go to his house to drop off some dope. It was 9 ounces, as a matter of fact. It's crazy. I was dropping off a quarter brick, and I'm waiting for him to get there. And his old lady's like, oh, he's supposed to be back in a minute. I was like, well, I'll just hang out. So I go in the bathroom, and I crush up a pill in the back of the toilet, snort it. About that time, I hear, boom, boom. I said, oh, fuck. Sheriff's Department. Search warrant. I just laid down on the ground. They come in. I was in the bathroom. They cuffed me up and everything, put me on the couch. I'm looking at her like, bitch, did you set me? That's what I'm thinking. You telling me you're going to be here in a couple minutes. Now they kicked the door in. And this is like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The cops never do that shit 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's just made it fishy. But I'm like, hey, I want to see the search warrant. He's like, this isn't your residence. I said, I don't give a fuck. You're arresting me. I want to see the search warrant. And he's like, you don't need to see it. And I said, actually, tell him motherfucker you want to see the search warrant. Because it was at her house. She owned it. So he put it on the table and shit, and I'm reading it. And I see right there where such and such sold to a confidential informant 2 times and gave him reasonable cause to come to the residence. Well, they go in the back spare bedroom was where he used to conduct business. That's where he weighed everything up, baggies, all this shit. Well, that's where I went and put the dope where I was supposed to. So they go in there and they find it. And they're like, okay, you both are going to jail for trafficking powder. It's not mine, that's his. That's what this bitch says right there. I said, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Just like that.
It's her house.
Yeah.
It's your house.
You don't have to say nothing. You don't have
Yeah.
to say nothing. Shut up. You don't know nothing about it. How did that get there? Her fingerprints are on nothing, you know? So we put us both in the back of the same cop car. And if you know anything about cop cars, it's going to say mic on, and it's going to have a little red light.
Yeah.
She's trying to talk, and I'm like, I slipped the cups from behind me and put them in front of me. She's like, I don't care. I can't go to prison. I said, shut the I leaned over. I said, I'm going to bond you out. Just shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Just chill. We get the booking. I'm sitting there for like an hour. She comes walking out. I'm like, what the fuck? There she goes. She's gone. So they booked me, and my bond was I think $100,000. Well, I bonded out, and the chick I was dating at the time, we're arguing. Right? It's like 2:00 in the morning. We're out on the beach. I was in a rental. I didn't have a license. She didn't have a license. And I just happened to look over on A1A, and I see the cop car with no lights on go by. And I was like, fuck. Now, I had like maybe a half ounce of powder, nothing much. I had probably about maybe 100 pills, but I had like 14 grand in cash and my pistol. And I was like, I can't get caught with this gun, you know?
Right.
So I pulled out, and the cop had backed in. He got out of his car. He was trying to sneak up on us walking. So I fucking fly by him, and I throw the pistol. And I tell her, I said, throw that black bag. I had a little shaving bag. Had my scales, the coke, some pills and shit in it. This dumb bitch don't throw it. She sits on it. So when we get pulled over, I'm thinking we're clean. I know I'm going to jail for driving unsuspended. I don't give a fuck about that. You know, I'll bond right out. Pulls us out the car. So he said, step out of the vehicle. I said, I ain't stepping out of the vehicle. What do you mean I step out of the vehicle? What's your name? He runs my name. Now he's got reasonable cause because I don't have a license. I have to get out of the vehicle. I get out. He cussed me up and shit. Then all of a sudden, I'm looking through the windshield. I see him cuff her up, and then he puts the bag on top of the hood. Oh, my God. I said, are you fucking shitting me? They put her in the back of the cop car. I said, what the fuck's wrong with you? She's like, I didn't want to throw it. I said, why? She said, I didn't want to lose a dope. I said, that's nothing. It's a fucking half ounce and some pills. So now I get caught with possession with intent to sell powder and possession with intent to sell pills. Mm-hmm. They revoked my bond because I was already out on bond in Martin County. This happened in St. Lucie County. So I can't get a bond. So I got to sit there and go to trial. Well, I didn't go to trial on that one. I copped out. But I had that one ran concurrent with Martin. I got 36 months running concurrent with Fort Pierce. So I sort of got lucky.
So you just pled guilty?
I pled guilty to those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I got to stop for a second. I got to turn the AC down. I'm freezing.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Turn your little nipplers down.
All right. So what happened then? So you did 36. What?
I got 36 months, and it was a trafficking charge, so it was mandatory. It was a mandatory minimum. It was day for day.
What happened with the chick?
Oh, that dumb bitch. She got charged with it too, but I ended up. I told her. I said, listen, don't plead, don't take no plea, no nothing.
Right.
And I paid half her bond. I wasn't gonna pay. I didn't pay the whole thing because people were already trying to get it together. Mm-hmm. So we both bonded out, and I didn't fuck with her no more. She did her thing, and she ended up going up north. And I forgot what. They ended up dropping the charges on her eventually because I told them. I said, listen, that was my dope. But they were trying to press it because it was up on her seat.
Right.
But it was a rental car, and I told them, I said, listen, it's mine.
Right.
So eventually, they ended up dropping her charges. But I went to prison on 36 months, and at the time, you couldn't get any game time on it because it was a mandatory minimum on trafficking charges in the state. So I was wild. I didn't give a shit. I'm smoking, I'm pissing hot, and they're fucking putting me in a box. I'm getting out. I'm like, fuck you. I don't get no game time anyway, you know?
Where'd you
5 months before I get out,
right,
they changed the law. So I
you've lost all your good time?
I jacked it off. I mean, quick. I could have been out, you know? So he's like, yeah, all that acting tough, being cool, guess what? You could have been home 6 months ago. I'm like, yeah, fuck you. I still go home in 5 months, you know? But inside, I'm like, God damn it, you know?
So what happens? So you get out, you have to start all over again?
Oh, I get out, and I go back down south. My buddy Dom, I told you we'd had the beach house and everything. Mm-hmm. He's like, man, come stay with me, you know? And I'm trying to do legit shit. I started doing detailing for this guy. He did it out of a warehouse, but it was all nice cars, you know, Mercedes, BMWs, Rolls Royce, Bentley, shit like that. He was charging big money for it. That's where I learned to do detailing. And at night, I'm going out to this botanical garden with this guy and catching lizards and shit. I mean, 100, 200 lizards. And we're going down these canals and getting these small iguanas
Right.
out of the tree and selling them to these pet stores and shit. And then the big ones that are like 3-4 foot, them motherfuckers will cause havoc in a little John boat. You hear me?
Right.
He's ripping them out of the tree and the tail's whipping all around. We're trying to pin him down and he's taping them up and he's selling them to the goddamn Vietnamese and shit, and they're eating them. Oh yeah, I'm like, God damn, well, that's a whole different side of that. You talking about eating cats and shit? I don't know, but I know they eat them goddamn big lizards up quick. That's a fact.
So how long does that last till you
About a
go
month.
back?
About a month.
I was all in. I was all in for a month.
I'm like, man, fuck this, man. What's up, partner? I'm ready. So I started selling dope again, and then my grandma passed away. Now, I hadn't talked to my dad for like 4 years, you know. My dad's living up in Tennessee now. He had her living up there. He moved her up there. Well, they brought her back down to Florida to bury because that's where my grandpa is and everything. That's where my family plot is. And me and him start talking. He's like, man, aren't you done with this? Why don't you come up here and live with me? So I was like, all right, I'm ready to try it because I don't want to go back to prison. I really don't.
Yeah.
So I moved up to Tennessee and I start working at this place called Jones Plastic. And it's like one of the best jobs around there. But I'm still only making $10.50 an hour. You
Right.
know? But I'm working like 70, 80 hours a week. I'm working 16-hour shifts, 6-7 days a week. And it just got monotonous. I mean, there's nothing up there.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the middle of the country, a flashing light. That was it in the whole town. You know, they had a Walmart. That was like a big thing. I'm doing bass fishing and shit like that. It's just not the same as saltwater fishing. It's you know you're gonna catch a bass. You might get a big one, you might not. But saltwater, you got all kinds of different size fish, you know, different kinds. So it's just after time, I got burned out on it, and I'm like, listen, Dad, I love you to death, man, but I can't do it no more. So I went back down south, and of course, you know, I went to Ocala, and hey, I'm back. What's up? I need to see you. But the price for powder was so high at the time. I was like, God damn. I met this dude named Chaz in state prison, and he was there for ICE. And he's like, man, this is where the money's at. I said, man, I don't know nothing about that shit. Well, he lived in St. Augustine at the time. He was at a work release center. He just got out of state prison. So I call him, and he's like, yeah, he was working at Beef O'Brady's. And he said, come down here and see me. So I go down there, and he gets a break, comes out to the car, and he's like, here, try this. I said, God damn. I mean, it burnt so bad, it was like I was snorting fire. I'm like, shit, my eye waters. He's like, yeah, that's that good shit. And I was like, good? The fuck you talking about good? And I didn't feel nothing. He's like, you don't feel nothing? All right. So he lays out another one. I said, man, I don't want to do that. He's like, trust me. I did that one. I didn't sleep for a couple days. Right. And I was like, woo. I said, well, I don't know nothing about it. He's like, man, just hand this out. It's going to sell itself. So I started handing her out. I was living in Beverly Hills at the time in Citrus County. And within...
Not California.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I started off getting a 1/4 ounce and selling that. And I was getting a 1/4 ounce 2-3 times a day. And then within a month, I was getting half a pound. And then a month from that, I was getting 3 pounds. And at the time, I was selling ounces for $1,600. I was getting a pound for $15,000. So, I mean, I was making good money. And then I ended up meeting this trucker, and he would come every other week, and he wanted a pound. And I charged him $20,000. So I'd make $5,000. I'd go down to Tampa, see my dude. I'd grab a couple for me, one for him. From Tampa to Wildwood, I made $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
I made him at the truck stop, handed it to him, he's gone. He introduced me to another buddy of his. So now I got him this week, his buddy this week, then him every other week. But I'm making $5,000 off each one of them every week.
So that's $20,000.
Every
a
$5,000,
month.
yes.
Yeah, it's $20,000 a month.
$5,000 a week from $20,000 a month, easy money.
And that's not including just whatever else you're
Oh,
doing.
that was just nice. That was my guaranteed money, you know. But I started, pills was a big thing then. Doctor shopping and all that shit. So there's this little dude. He's like, man, come on, man. I know a bunch of people. So I gave him like, I think $2,500. I said, man, if you can make something happen with that, go. This little son of a bitch, he made something happen. All right. He goes and starts renting vans, and he's driving people down there. And I'm talking like 10, 15 people at a time. The hardest thing was trying to get them filled because all the pharmacies were short on pills and shit. But before you know it, he's got a full-blown enterprise going. He done hired people to drive different vehicles and shit and find out what pharmacy had pills and everything. And the whole time I was still doing the ice. That's where the money was. And I got hot, you know. They started getting on to me and shit, and they were trying to catch me. And one night I had what I have. I think I had like 6 or 7 ounces of ice, some pills, a little bit of weed. And I stopped at a Walgreens. I didn't know, but the dude I was with, he called, told somebody to meet him there. So I go in the store to buy a drink and shit. Well, while I was in there, I guess he did a transaction in the parking lot, but the task force was sitting across the street. They saw a little hand-to-hand, but they couldn't prove nothing. So I pull out, and I'm in a Maxim at the time. I'm hauling ass, and all of a sudden, I look in the rear view, and I see this just coming up quick. And I'm like, hey, man, this fucker's flying up on me. And he's like, oh, shit, man, I hope they didn't see me. And I'm like, well, see you do what? He's like, bro, I sold some pills to that dude in the parking lot. I said, out in the middle of fucking the parking lot? He's like, yeah. I'm mad, right? And I'm like, this stupid motherfucker. So sure enough, it was an SUV. Lit me up. And I'm going around, there's some turns, real sharp turns coming up. I'm thinking, how the fuck can I do this? But I have my shit in a Crown Royal bag. It was like a Crown Royal bag, but it was a black bag. So I pull it tight. I put my pistol in there. I pull everything tight. And the only thing I had on me was a little bit of money. But I had two Delatas that were sitting in the change, in the center console where the change goes, and I forgot about that. But I go in the opposite lane, double yellow line, and go around this dude, and the cops couldn't see me, and I threw it out the window. I said, lean back. I chucked it out the window, and then I go like a couple hundred more yards, and I pull over. Well, it was the task force. They all hop out with suits and shit, vest on. What are you doing? We thought you were going to run on us. I was like, bro, I thought you're an emergency vehicle. This guy wasn't pulling over. I was trying to get him, teach him, hey, follow me.
Trying to help you.
Like, stop, man. I said, man, I thought you were a fire truck or something. They started laughing. He said, this motherfucker, run his name. And they ran and said, oh, so you're E. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's what my name starts with, the E. And they're like, oh, you want to be a smart ass, huh? I didn't have a license, so they ran my name and shit. And
why can't you keep a license?
I haven't had a license since 05. Well, I do now, but I didn't have one since 05. I have a habitual traffic offender. I used to like speeding a little bit. You know?
Right.
Just a little. If you couldn't tell, like, anyway, 120 on the way. But, make a long story short, they knew my name, they knew who I was. And I was living in Beverly Hills when me and the chick I was with, we got in a big argument because she knew everybody. That's how I blew up. She knew everybody in that town. And I had the best dope around because I was getting it straight from Chico's out of Polk County. I used to meet him in Tampa, and that's how I blew up. That's how I met Dave.
Old Dave.
Yeah, well, when I just saw him last week. And so next thing you know, she's introducing me this person, and people that have been selling dope there for years hate me. Because they're like, I'm taking all their clientele.
Right.
Because they're getting shit, and then they're cutting it, and they're still charging top dollar for it. And I used to tell everybody, I'll do the Pepsi challenge with you any day. We'll take your dope, take my dope, bring it to 100% acetone, see what it's about, because it's going to get all the cut out. And then once you reweigh it, you see what you got. And I said, I'll put my ounce and get your ounce. Winner take it. And they would hate it. And I never had a drought. Out of 3 years, I never went without dope. Other people be hit or miss. You know, they might be out for a week or out for 2 weeks. It all depends. So then they're coming to me through a third party. Like this chick would be like, hey, E, you know, Billy wants to buy this, this, and this. You know, I'm like, tell him to call me. Mm-hmm. You know, I just want to rub it in his face. And, hey, what's going on, bud? Yeah, I said, yeah, remember when I told you I'd give it to you for cheaper than your guy? And I said, well, I'm going to have to charge you a little more now. Yeah. You know it's a drought.
Those days are over.
Oh, man, they used to hate it, but they didn't have a choice if they wanted to keep their clientele.
Dave, I've mentioned Dave before. Colby's heard about Dave. Dave had
one arm.
What's the story with him?
He had one arm. Do you remember? I've told the story about the guy, and
I'll give it a run.
I'll tell you the story. You tell me if I'm right or not. Okay. Right? Because listen, people in the fucking comments, gosh, got nothing but fucking story. Well, you hear 1,000 stories in prison. I got thousands of them, but Dave was, I want to say he was fucked up on LSD.
Quaaludes.
Oh, was it Quaaludes? He and his girl, he's driving, got his arm hanging out the window, and he dozes off. This is when he's young.
He's like 19 or 20.
Yeah. Dozes off and sideswipes a tree.
Exactly.
Rips the arm, not off.
Mangles it
to where it's hanging. He said it was hanging from just like some tendons.
From right here down. It was just mangled. His old lady's passed out in the seat.
Right. So
he's so fucked up. He starts bleeding so much. He passes out. The car hops the curb and hits a tree in this guy's front yard. The old guy comes out and sees Dave all fucked up. He rips his belt off and wraps around his arm. If not, he would have bled out. He was that fucked up.
Oh, see, Dave had told me he drove himself to the
Yeah, he did. He pulled it tight
and drove himself to the emergency room.
That's when Dave come awake. Yeah.
And then so Dave goes to the emergency room and they just basically just snip it off.
Yep.
Like there's nothing that can be done. There's no just click, click, it's done.
Now because that happened not just long ago, a year ago, he was paralyzed.
Yeah,
Dave mentioned that. Yeah, he almost died.
Yeah.
Because from the muscles and tendons and everything.
Yeah.
balled up around his spinal cord and his neck and pinched all his nerves. He was actually paralyzed for months. They ended up having to do a couple surgeries on him and shit, and he's back working now.
Call him one arm a day.
That son of a bitch right there could run. He was like Forrest Gump. That motherfucker, he'd go out there and he'd run 25 laps.
I was in the drug program with him, and I remember I was a cellie. He and Ledford.
Yeah.
Remember Ledford?
Yeah.
So
he beat a life sentence.
Yeah.
And got hit again.
No, he's not. He's not locked up again.
No, he's not.
Okay. So he
We'll leave it at that.
So Dave would tie his shoes, one hand, right? Like I think he's only got like is he right-handed or something? Whatever it is, I don't think
he was left-handed.
And he lost left, right.
Yeah, and he lost his left hand.
So we'd be in the cell and he's making his bed, he's tying his shoes real methodically, right? And I'd sit there and I'd go, Dave, you want me let me get that for you. Let me get that. He goes, no, I got it. And then this went on for a couple of days. And I remember one time he sat down and because I'd done it so much, I was like, I got let me get that. And he's like, no, sit down. And finally he turned to me one day, he goes, bothers you, doesn't it? And I went, I just feel bad because I could do it so easily. It's not a big deal. He goes, no. He said, this is how I do my time. He said, this is who I am. This is the way I do things. He said, I'm good. He said, don't let it bother you. You know what I'm saying? Like real, pretty cool. Like he was a pretty cool. I always thought he was a pretty cool guy. I mean,
Yes.
I never had any problems with him.
I still fuck with him.
Yeah.
I just saw him not even a week ago. He come and see me.
But I just remember he's like, bothers you, doesn't it? Like, he's driving me crazy. I want to help you. And he's, no. Folding it. I mean, imagine folding your fucking clothes and shit.
I watched him make his bed. That was hilarious. I was like, it just drive me crazy. Man, let me pay something to come make your bed.
Yeah.
And Ellis, you knew him prior to going in.
Oh, yeah. I used to get a lot of dope. He's the one that got me plugged in with the Chicos.
Yeah.
I was getting it from him first.
Yeah.
And so did he have a one arm then?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Since he was 19.
Yeah, he's 50. He's probably close to 60 years old right now. And I didn't meet him until a couple years before I got locked up on the Fed charge.
He was cooking meth.
No, but he was plugged in. He had the cartel in his pocket. They loved him. Because his first case was like a 49 kilo conspiracy. Oh, and he got 15 off that. And he did all that.
Yeah. Is that in the state or the feds?
No, feds. This was his second Fed did.
Holy Jesus. So, all right. So you said you said 3 years. You said you had a good 3 years. What happens at are there any other like close calls? Anything that? And are you delivering on the motorcycle? I know bits and pieces.
This is where it gets interesting.
Like, so he had a system with the motorcycle.
Yeah, I kept rentals. I always had a rental, and I would swap. Like one time, I left Ocala, and my buddy calls me like, "Hey man, the task force is just here talking to such and such, some chick," and she come and told me they know you're driving this, and they're waiting for you to come back. So I got down here to Tampa. I drained all the oil out of the rental, and I made sure the light came on. Right. And I pull in there. I'm like, "Hey man, the oil's light on, the brake's not working. I don't feel safe in this." "Oh well, come on in," and they'd change it out. So then I saw how quick they would change the rentals out. Fuck, I was doing it all the time. But every time I got a rental, I'd go straight from the rental place to my buddy's shop and put 10 on the windows. And a lot of times I put rims on it. So it wouldn't look like, it wouldn't look like a rental at all. At all.
Are you turning them back in with the new rims?
No, with the tent. Listen, half the goddamn cars in Ocala had 10 on them after a while.
With these fucking tires. This is in our car.
And I had a system where the amp and everything was just connected to the box. My buddy, he hooked it all up. He was good. He could take the wires and just plug it into the back speakers, and it ran everything on any car. So every rental I had a system, had rims, and had tent. And sometimes I'd keep them for a month. Sometimes I'd keep them.
And what's the strategy behind the rentals?
They never knew what you were driving.
Yeah.
No, they never knew what you were driving.
They're looking for a fucking,
And I'd take it like if, just say, I ended up going on the run. They got behind me and I took on a chase and got away from them, or wrecked it. I'd take off running. They couldn't prove who it was because the rental got stolen.
Right.
Like one time,
first phone call you make after that is
the first phone call is whoever, because I never had it in my name. It was always in chicks' names. I'd get, "Hey, I need a rental." "Oh, okay, no problem." So I get it. Back then I was paying $800 a week. It's cheap now for rental, but that was for full coverage and unlimited miles. And this one time I took him on a high-speed chase. I was coming through Denellen, and I ended up losing him. I pull over, and I mean, there's no way I can wipe all the fingerprints down. So I call my buddy. I say, hey, man, get 2 gallons of gas and come here. So he comes and picks me up, and we burn the rental up. But at the time, right before that, I called a chick, and I'm like, hey, listen, the cops are going to be coming to your house. She's like, oh, my God, what the fuck you do? I said, listen, just pretend like the car's in your driveway.
Right.
She's like, what? I said, just say you left the keys in the center console, whatever. It's not a big deal. Listen, 5 minutes later, I'm talking to her, and not 5 minutes goes by, and they're knocking on the door. She opens up the door. Listen, she could have got a fucking Academy Award. She played that shit so good. She's like, oh, how can I help you? She's like, are you Amanda such and such? Yes, I am. Do you know where your rental is? She's like, yeah, it's in your driveway. No, it's not. Well, yes, it is. She goes out there. She goes, oh my God, where's my car? I mean, she just played out. She had to write this thing at 8 o'clock next morning. Enterprise dropped off a brand new rental for her. That happened multiple times. Only twice with her. After the second time, she's like, fuck no, you're not putting nothing else in my name.
So what happens?
The motorcycle was my favorite because there's no way they're going to catch me.
Yeah.
You got 10 minutes. If you can't lose a cop in 10 minutes on a motorcycle, you shouldn't be on one.
Right.
Absolutely not. Like, I went down and saw Dave one time, and I'm coming back, and I was doing probably 90, maybe 100 miles an hour. And that's just cruising on a bike after you get used to a bike. And something told me, look in my rear view, and I look, and there's a cop. It was a state trooper in a Charger. He was only like 2 bike lengths behind me. And about the same time I look, he lights me up. So I did no clutch, no nothing. I just downshifted 2 gears and stretched it out. I got it fastest I've ever been is 191. And I looked down at the speedometer, and I was like, oh, shit. And I just went to look up in the mirror. You can't move your head. You know, my helmet's on the gas tank. And I didn't see him behind me anymore. So I downshift. I get off this exit, and I pull into McDonald's. Well, you know, all the trash cans have little walls around them.
Yeah.
Well, it was perfect because the guy had it open, emptying the trash. I was like, bro, I'll give you $300. You let me put my bike in here real quick. He's like, man, put it in here. So I put it in there. I run inside, and I take my backpack off and all the dope. I took my pistol out, put it in the backpack, and it got drop ceilings like this. I lift it up, I put it in there, and I go out and buy a meal. And I call my buddy. I said, hey, man, I need you to bring your enclosed trailer. And he's like, bro, it's fucking like 11 o'clock at night. And I said, man, I'm going to give you $2,000. He's like, where are you at? You know, so he brings his trailer down there, and we're coming back down 75, and, you know, they have them Amber Alert signs. Mm-hmm. It says, be on the lookout for a motorcycle with a helmet has a red, yellow, orange mohawk on it. It had a helmet with an orange mohawk on it. That's the only thing they can remember me by. He's like, is that you? I was like, I know what you're talking about. He's like, you son of a bitch. I said, shit, you got $2,000, shut up. But they never caught me on a bike. And when I got arrested in Marion County, like I said, the task force from Citrus County came over and said, I just want to meet the ghost I've been chasing for the last year and a half.
Right.
And I just bought a brand new Nissan Titan. And me and my old lady were fighting at the time. We were moving. And I had a safe. And I used to love guns. That was my thing. And I probably had 70 guns. This is all bullshit aside. Fully automatic ARs, AKs, Glocks, fully automatic. I had a Sterling submachine gun. And I go to my buddy's house and drop off. I think I dropped off like 4 or 5 ounces and some pills. And he's like, hey, this chick just got her script. And I've been wanting to meet her. You know, I mean, she was a bad little bitch. So I was like, well, let's go over there real quick. So he pulls out, and I pull behind him, and then stop sign, a brand new unmarked pulls by. And I'm like, not thinking of him. My buddy turns behind him. I turn behind him. We're going. Well, my buddy takes a left, and as soon as I go to take the left, the cop whips it around. And I mean, before he even whips it around, he's got his light on. There's no reason for that. We didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
So I shoot around my buddy real quick because before the cop could even hit the street, he flies around my buddy. So I'm like, man, motherfucker, put him on me. You know, I had somebody put him on me. So I'm hauling ass. And this cop's trying to catch me. I'm going. I'm coming up to a 4-way intersection off 44, which is like a main highway. And I see the cop probably about 200 yards before that. He's got spike strips in his hand. And he fucking goes to throw him across the road. And I just pumped the brakes a couple times, and I went like this and yanked it in the grass. I mean, chunks of sod were just flying up, dirt, everything. My dog smacks the back window, and I feel the safe, boom, in the bed of the truck. And I come like this, and I hop into the intersection, and they got a law. If you put the public in danger, they're supposed to stop the chase. So I hop the curb and go right into oncoming traffic. There's like 8 cop cars behind me. There's no way I'm going to beat them. So as soon as I start doing that, I see lights fall off, and I got it up like, I think 120. The governor was hitting, nee. And I get off there and go and burn that truck up. Boarded and stolen. You know, I lost $2,700 in a week from that truck. from the lot till the insurance company got it for $2,700. I was mad as hell. Didn't catch a charge though, so it was worth it.
So what? So after all of these, what happens? You basically said at this point you had like a 3.5 year run.
Mm-hmm.
What happens? How does that case unravel?
I go down and see somebody down south. I'm coming down the interstate. I didn't know, but they clocked me doing 147 miles an hour from a helicopter.
Is this on a
bike?
Okay.
I was on a bike. And I didn't know it, but the helicopter clocked me doing 147 coming down 75. I get off and I go like 9 miles to a gas station. I'm not thinking nothing. I don't see no cops, no nothing. I go in there and I'm arguing with this chick. I go in the bathroom. I crush a couple pills. I snort them. I go and grab a Mountain Dew from the thing. And I'm walking back and forth arguing with her. I was like, listen, I'll be home in a little bit. Just shut the fuck up. I'm coming. I walk to the counter. I'll never get the look on the dude's face. I hand him a 20. I said, put the rest on pump 1. He was just like, I'm like, a fucking weirdo. I go open the door and all of a sudden, get on the ground. I see all these little red dots all over me. I take off and try to run. This fucker comes around the side of the building, look like Goldberg. He speared me. Boom. And we're fighting, and I got the top of his head, and I push real hard. I almost get all the way up, and his partner comes in. He about knocked me out. He hit me so hard. He swore my shit shut. And they beat my ass. And that's how they got me cuffed up, and they grabbed my backpack, because I threw my backpack when I was trying to run from them.
All right.
And they grabbed the backpack, and they started taking dope out and this and that. And they start patting me down and start taking wads of money out of my pocket. I had like 18 grand on me at the time. And when I get to the jail, they report 4,500. Yeah.
That's common.
Go figure.
That's
huh?
actually common.
Yeah.
We've heard that many times.
I had like $20,000 worth of diamonds in my backpack because I was just fixing to get a charm made with E on it.
Mm-hmm.
My Rolex, I had a presidential. None of that showed up. It was all missing.
Well, how much dope did they turn in? I mean, how much dope did they pull up?
It wasn't, I only had, because I had just dropped off shit down south. I had like 40 grams on me.
Right.
But I had the gun. So when they're going through the backpack, they said, oh, look at this. I had a Kimber 45. And they locked it back and said, oh, and one in the hole. And I was like, fuck, you know what I mean? And there was a dude that I knew. He had pulled up to the gas pump getting gas. And he's like, and I was like, so they bring an ambulance in because I'm all skinned up. I mean, they drugged me across the concrete and shit, They're dabbing my little scratches and shit like that. And cops are going through there counting the money and shit. I mean, it was all, that's what I don't get. Because I saw the video. My lawyer got the video and shit. But it just shows from the front of the store. You can't see all the money that was on the back of the car.
Right.
I'd love to catch them, get them corrupt motherfuckers cased up, But you can't prove it.
Right.
Can't prove it. I mean, all that jewelry, everything, gone.
Is that the one that you went to Coleman for?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you never got out on bond?
A bond?
Yes.
You know what the lawyer said? I wouldn't even ask for a bond for you. They wouldn't even give me a bond here. He's like, are you kidding me? My state was a state case for 5.5 months. I paid the lawyer 14 grand just to get me a plea deal because they were talking about 15 years in the state, 15. I said, listen, man, get me 7 years and I'll sign it. I'm ready to go. And he comes back and he's like, listen, man, he said, I just took the prosecutor out to a dinner this night. He's like, I got you 7 years. I was like, shit, when can you have me in court? He said, I'm going to get you on the next available docket. I'm leaning back. I'm like, cool, because I had a long record. So 7 years, I was trying to get in and out. Let me go. Which now that I know what I know now, the feds, it wouldn't matter. If the feds going to get you, they come get you at the back gate when you're done with your sentence for the gun. So about 2 weeks before my date, I was supposed to plead guilty. They come in there early in the morning, Cook, you got court. And I was like, oh, maybe he got me on an early docket, I'm like, cool, I go over there. And if you got a private lawyer, you go first thing in the morning to court. I'm sitting there, it's lunchtime. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? They probably fucked up, About that time, here comes 2 U.S. Marshals. They got the chains and they open up the thing. There's about 30 of us in the bullpen. They called this black dude that I knew from the streets, and they called these 2 Spanish dudes, and they said, Cook. And I was like, I started looking around. I'm like, God damn, I hope there's another Cook in here. They said, Cook. I just put my head down. They said, Ellis Cook. I said, that's me. He said, you're now property of the United States Marshals.
Oh, my God.
Put the belly chain on me and shit. Now, a buddy of mine had just got hit with 5 pounds of ice right after I got locked up. So I'm thinking, he may have told, So the state courthouse is here and the federal courthouse is here. So they load us in a van. I'm right across the street, back to van, and we get out. I go in there. They're taking pictures of my tattoos and all this. I said, what's the charge? And he looks at it and he's like, it's a weapons charge. So I was like, what's that carry? He said 0 to 10. I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't care. All right, cool. I'm already copping out to 7. So if worst comes to worst, I get 10. Not the case. I go in front of the judge, and the prosecutor said, Your Honor, we're seeking the ACCA enhancement, 180 to life. I'm like this. That's 5. That's 10. I said, God, 50. I said, what the fuck's he talking about? 15 to life. He's like, don't worry, I'm going to come see it. That's what the public. I said, bullshit. What's he talking about? And I guess you got a lengthy criminal history. And I was like, I'm just dumbfounded. I'm like, God damn, 15 to life? Really? I didn't kill nobody, you know? And sure enough, that's exactly 15 to life. They don't play about that shit, boy.
So does that run concurrently with the state?
No, the state. They
just drop it. They don't even give a shit.
Oh,
at
yeah.
that point.
Here's the funny part, right? Like 2 days before that, I go out there and Palmer, he was an officer. I used to mess with his sister and shit, so I knew him. He's like, Cook, they dropped all your charges. But I had a charge in Citrus County, a no bond charge. So I'm like, what do you mean? He turned around and said, all charges dropped. Hold for Citrus County. I'm like, fuck yeah, I got him, boy. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got him all right. Goddamn feds got me. Yeah. And then Citrus County, I'm sitting there waiting to go. It didn't take long after they hit me with a criminal complaint. And then like 2.5 weeks later, they hit me with an indictment. And then less than a month in that, I pled guilty. And then my mom died because my mom died. Found out she had cancer in June. She died in August. Yeah. So that sort of fucked me up. So we were trying to get all the medical records from when I went to sentencing to try to stay at Coleman, you know? So it was close to my mom, but she died before that happened. And, I mean, I don't even know where I was going with that, but it fucked me up because, I mean, my mom was always there for me no matter what, you know? I did a lot of fucked up shit, but I mean, Mama Dukes was always there for me. I could always count on her. And then when my mom died, she leaves everything to my aunt for me because she was scared the feds were going to take it or whatever. She wasn't sure. So my aunt ends up burning me out of a lot of shit because I had 25 grand cash put up my mom's house for like 2 years. It was inside a cushion, you know, vacuum sealed.
I've heard this story, by the way.
So
I remember the phone call. I found something.
Yeah.
You go, you know that's mine.
Yeah, I called and tell her. I was like, hey, when are you going to mom's house? There's something. She's like, why? I said, just when are you going? So it takes like 3 or 4 days to finally get her there. And I'm here. I said, all right, look, are you looking at the couch? Yeah. I said, go to the middle cushion. It's like pie shaped. There's a lazy boy, you know, reclined couch. She lifts it up. She said, oh my God, I found it. I said, shut up. I know what it is. I said, that's mine. Where did you get it? I said, just be quiet. Just be quiet. It was 25 grand cash that I put away just for emergencies, you know, in case you had to run or whatever. And so she grabs that, and then there was a $40,000 life insurance policy. There was like $18,000 in a 401k, and there's some money in my mom's bank account. Well, needless to say, I haven't seen any of that, and I haven't talked to my aunt. But I did go there about a month ago and knocked on the door.
Did she open it? No, she just.
Oh, don't worry. I'm banging on the door, and I mean, it looks rough because they bought that place after my mom died. So I mean, I wonder where they got the money.
Yeah.
So it's so rough looking. I don't know if anybody even lives there. So I go look at the meter, and the meter's spinning. So I'm like, all right. So I go on the back door, and I just start bam, bam, bam. You know what I mean? Sort of like when you're in the shoe, you're bucking. I did one of them numbers. So I went around front, and I wrote a little note. You know, I'm home. I'm out. I'll see you soon. Give me a call.
when you're not expecting it, expect it.
So I see her on Facebook. You know, I'll see her. She'll be active, and I'll shoot over to Messenger and be like, "You still not talking to me?" Oh yeah. Hello. I said, don't worry. I'll see you soon.
So how long was your sentence? Like, what was the
15 years.
15 years.
Would you go straight to Coleman?
Yeah.
And you met me.
Yeah. Then I went to the zoo. Then back to
why'd you go to Yazoo?
Oh, fuck with the Chomos. They gave me some frequent flyer miles.
Listen, how'd you like it? And I remember too.
The zoo was wild.
I thought you hated it.
Listen, the zoo was wild, but the reason I hated it is because I was so far away.
Okay.
I
don't know.
How about Big Girl?
When you came back, you were like, "Fucking, this is like I'd rather be at Coleman."
Yeah, Coleman's like a goddamn.
Oh yeah.
How can I say it?
It's
like
a
Club
daycare.
Med.
Yeah, it's
Club Med compared to other places. The zoo is nasty, and I mean, it was just. You want to talk about motherfuckers smoking K2 and flipping out? And this is one of the best chases I ever seen was at Yazoo. This dude is a professional football player. Right at lunchtime, he goes out there and hits a big piece, strips butt naked, And you know, Yazoo's built just like Coleman in a way.
Yeah.
So you know, when you're on your way to lunch, you had that big ass open area. I'm talking 7-8 minutes. They're chasing this motherfucker. They can't. There's 300 people on a compound going back and forth to chow. We're all laid down or on a knee laughing. So these cops are pissed. When they finally do get him, they fucking cuff him up and they dragged him from the far end all the way to the chute, butt ass naked. I mean, he had burns on his chin, his chest, his dick. They dragged him across the grass, the concrete, everything. Man, that was hilarious, boy. That was a good one.
Do you remember the first time you met Matt? Like, do you remember how you guys met each other?
The very first time,
When did you get there?
got there in 14.
Yeah, because I got there in 2009 because I was locked up in 2000. It was basically the beginning of 2007. It was actually late 2006.
Right.
No. What was it, 2006, 2000? So it was late 2007. I actually got there like in December. And so I was at the medium for 3 years. So in 2009 or 10 I think is when I got to the low. And then you showed up.
No.
He and Jeff, remember Jeff?
Apollonia. I just seen him on Facebook the other day.
Listen, they would tell stories about being in state prison. Remember I've told you people would start to tell stories, I just walk away?
Yeah.
The stories make me sick to my stomach. They're so fucking horrible. They're all horrific. And Jeff loved to tell these horrific fucking about being in the state. And he'd start talking, and I just like...
The feds is so much better. I mean, as far as living conditions and shit.
Yeah.
Especially now. I haven't been in a long time, but they say it's nothing but little gangbangers and shit. I mean,
Oh, now?
yeah, they're going hard in state.
Yeah.
They-
Oh,
they-
in the state?
you
No,
can't even get a razor.
No, I was saying even in the
Feds?
in the feds, it's
Oh, yeah,
horrible too.
That's.
And they Pete, my buddy Pete Rossini.
I remember Pete.
Yeah.
I
He
remember
said
little Pete, short Pete.
no, short. Well, he's
Well, I
taller
mean,
than- taller than me.
tall to you, but I mean,
Last time when I was there,
he was there for trap. He was there for big. He
was
was
there
connected
for-
with the cartel. I remember.
he was there for, well, one of the many charges is the most serious ones is the
Money laundering.
murder of 2 federal informants that were murdered.
Right.
So it's conspiracy to murder 2 federal informants.
Yeah.
They were murdered.
Right.
And Pete says, all he did was move the bodies.
Right.
So, but Pete said like the last like shakedown they had. Keep in mind when I was there, and really I think when I was there, there was probably 5 or 6 cell phones on the whole compound. Pete said, "What?
How do you think all that shit started?
Right. Well,
Who was the first one to get to that camp?
I don't know. Well, I don't know about the camp. I'm talking about the low.
I know, but how do you think all them phones got to the camp?
Oh,
Or to the
okay.
low?
So-
I'll explain that to you in a minute.
Well, okay. So Pete said that like the last time just before he left, they shook down the whole place. Like they found like 150 phones. He was like, they were everywhere. Because when COVID came, they
Locked down everything.
Right. Well, and all the old guards that could retire retired
Yeah.
because so many people were getting COVID. They were afraid they're going to get killed. They're going to die. And then they bring in new guys who don't have a fucking new COs who they don't have a clue what they don't have all the games that the inmates play and the little scams
And they're in the unit all day long.
and the
rest of their
hiding
wreck.
places and they don't know any of these things. These are young guys. They're making $35,000 a year and they don't know all the games. So it just became
Listen,
fucking crazy.
during COVID, I was designated to go to the camp. I was supposed to go to Edgefield, South Carolina. They shipped us over to the medium. There's like 20 of us for quarantine.
Right.
We're supposed to be over there 2 weeks. We're there 3 months because COVID hit over there, so everybody's locked down. So we're stuck in there like it's bullshit. We're just stuck in a cell. Finally, instead of transferring us, they sent us back over to low. Well, I was working commissary, so I got lucky. They moved me to the chapel where the workers were, and I got to go back to work. Well, I was there for like 8 months, 9 months, whatever it was, and then they were going to open up, start transferring again. Well, they were going to ship all the girls out of there up to Mariana
Yeah.
and
Turned it into a men's
camp. So I was the first 31 guys there. The first night we were there, I had a homegirl that was there. She's out now, but I've known her for my whole life. She had a cell phone and there's 2 other cell phones. And she's like, I was at the low talking to her because I knew I was coming. She's like, I'm going to leave you mine and I'm going to leave you 2 more if they want to buy them. I'm like, what do they want for them? I'm like, $200. I'm like, $200 for a phone. We're used to paying, $4,000 for a phone. So I'm
Right.
like, bet, no problem. So I sent her the money. I bought all 3 of them. Well, she gave me hers and I bought the other 2. So I go, I know who's going because we're all in the same unit. So I go to the head Spanish dude and I go to the head black dude. You want a phone? When we get over there? Yeah. Cool. That way everybody's covered.
Right.
White, Spanish, black, everybody got a phone. Well, the first night we get there, I call my boy and I'm like, hey, man, I need you to come throw something. He lives 10 minutes from there. So he comes up on his bike with a tennis ball. There's a 1/4 ounce of ice in there, and he chucks it over. I had 9 white boys up for 3 days, right? Wide ass open. Bobby G. He's still there right now. Yeah, but so I'm like, damn, man, I know I can make this happen. So I'm working commissary. I'm the only one working commissary for like a month and a half. So I'm working a warehouse and I'm working the window. But I'm bagging everything up and bringing it to the unit. But there was only 31 of us there for 2 weeks. And then they brought the people from Marianna over there because they were in quarantine. So there was only 70 of us there for like 2 months anyway. But I'm like, damn, man, I know I can get this shit over low. Well, remember Dave, my little Cuban buddy that worked commissary?
Mm-hmm.
He was the number one now. So I shot a kite over there, got his number. We're talking. I was like, listen, I'm going to put this shit in Sevilla beans. And so they brought it over on the truck. Police loaded up and brought it through the back gate and everything. Yeah, 10 phones. 10 phones, 2 cartons of cigarettes, about 100 Suboxone. And after that, it was on them popping. That's the shit was going to the medium. And then pin 1 was a scary route because everything goes through the metal detectors when it goes through the pin. But the frozen food shit, they really don't sweat because they don't think it was no big deal. Well, now they do. They X-ray every fucking thing. But we sent quite a bit of shit to the pen too. But I turned the low out. I was sending shit through commissary. Then you know how the train comes around once a week with all the toilet paper and everything on it.
Oh yeah. The train. It's like a golf cart, but it's got a bunch of just like
buggies or something.
Yeah, buggies behind. But it does. It's not like 2. It's like 8.
Yeah, and it's all cases of toilet paper and paper towels and shit like that. Well, they say my buddy was in B3. You know, they're all marked B3. Well, I'd put B3 and then an extra 3 up underneath it so he knew which one it was. And I'd have 5 cell phones in there, carton of cigarettes, whatever, you know. And it was
wreaking havoc.
Yes.
Making these poor COs' jobs harder.
Then I let fucking dumbass Billy, not that Billy, but Billy that is in B3, walk with a little limp. He's like, man, I need to do something. Well, they started cracking down because this dumb black dude from Tampa saw what I was doing. He tried to do the same play and got busted. This stupid motherfucker has his son drive up there, and it's supposed to be a duffel bag. He drops 2 garbage bags full of shit. Most of it was food, T-shirt, dumb shit, a few bottles of liquor. And he drops it. He's supposed to drop it behind a food service warehouse. He drops it behind a commissary warehouse. I'm the only guy working commissary. Mm-hmm. He blew me up. He made me. I come around the corner, and there's the SIS, and they got shit spread all. Hey, nobody's working. Go back. And I went right to him. I said, you stupid motherfucker, what were you thinking, you know? He was so dumb. His son left the receipts in there with his name on it. So they run the name on it, and it comes back on his visitation list.
Yeah.
So they book him. I stop everything. I'm like, shit, this motherfucker gonna tell, you know? 2 weeks goes by. I'm like, ooh, maybe fucking. I crank back up. All of a sudden, I'm sitting there working the window, and I said, SIS to Del Torre at the camp. Yeah, this is Del Torre. He calls him. He said, yeah, he's here. Okay, front or back? Okay. He said, Crook, that's SIS. They're coming to get you. If you got anything on you, get it off. He turned around and walked in the office. And I did. I had some stamps, and I had some subs on me right there. So I handed it my little buddy. And they come fucking in the front door, and you know they're not supposed to cuff you with any other inmates around.
Yeah.
I don't care if you got the camper at the pen. Shit, they weren't hearing that shit. They fucking put me up against the wall, pat me down, cuff me up, and walk me out in front of like 30 of them. And I get to go through the control, and he's like, you know, if you got anything on you, if you don't tell me, I'm going to get you with a new charge. You got anything on you? I said, yeah, I sure do. He said, what you got? I said, I got a pencil in my pocket. He said, oh, you want to be a fucking smart ass, right? They rode me pretty good in there then. I rode 9 months on their investigation. And then they were talking about hitting me with outside charge because of Billy. But this stupid motherfucker, there's a concrete plant right next to it.
Yeah.
So I tell him that the day before this happens, I tell him, listen, make a dry run. If you can get over there and back in 30 minutes, we'll do it. Because that was really your window. Even if they said, you know, yard closed or whatever, you had about 30 minutes before they could get the guards over and do count and all that shit. Because there was only one guard working when we first started. Now they got one in each unit. They got cameras up. They put a fence up around the camp.
Around the camp?
Yeah, they put a fence up about 3 months ago. Yeah.
Were you in there with Donovan?
Yeah, I was there. Oh, fucking, I know him, Donovan. Listen, that Jeff and motherfucker there.
Why?
The warden and shit, they loved him.
They love him.
I know.
You know how much money he was fucking saving them?
A lot, working on all the equipment shit. And Sledge, remember Sledge? He was a biker. They got books about him and shit, but he was working with him. He got Sledge a job over there. But
he got shipped. Donovan got shipped.
I heard.
About what, 6 months, a year ago, something
Really?
like that. Yeah.
But it was so sweet. There was one officer, and she'd come around. They'd have one come from below or wherever. You count, that one would leave. So there was only one officer there. She walked through and be like, all right, see y'all next count. And that's when you saw her.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see her again until next count. She stayed up in the control booth. It was like the wild, wild west over there. Motherfuckers were taking off through the woods. Fucking, listen, 2 Spanish dudes, right? Pat gets dropped off. They don't know how they're going to get to it. I tell them, I said, listen, man, back then, they let us use cars and shit on the compound.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, Donovan had a truck he'd drive around.
Exactly. So one dude's working recycling. And I'm telling him, man, take the car and go pick the pack up. It's no big deal. You're allowed to drive it.
Mm-hmm.
They go, look for the pack. They couldn't find it right away. They finally find it, get it loaded up. And SIS is coming off lunch break. And they see him. They try to stop him. They haul ass from him. on the cop, yes. They slide around pin 2. And you got fucking the patrol that circles around each. There's like 3 of them. One from the medium, one from low, one from pin 2, trying to catch this vehicle. SIS ends up blocking them off. They hit the fucking vehicle. Oh, yeah, they ended up hitting outside charges and shit on them. Yeah. It was wild.
It's funny it's at the low too, right? Like at the low and the medium. Yeah, they got a perimeter truck that it does nothing but circles
2
all
of them.
fucking day long.
Yep, 2 of them.
Just circle. What a horrible, like that job. You think that'd be, oh, that's cool. All I gotta do is drive. Man, that must be horrible.
Remember when the truck caught on fire?
Oh yeah.
It burnt down over there in the far corner?
Yeah. I remember that. And every once in a while they'd stop, they'd get out, they'd just stand there for fucking 30 minutes. Because it's got to be just fucking horrible driving in circles for fucking 8 hours.
They sit on their phone most of the time.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. The people that get in trouble and shit, that's what they do. They put them on perimeter.
Oh my God.
Were you there when, what's his name, himself? The police?
No, but wait, what God, what was his name?
Tippett.
Tippett.
That was the last motherfucker wrote me a shot. I got hit for
I like Tippett.
So did I. Listen, he was so fucked up on top. He nodded out and he left his pill bottle on the counter. Listen, got paid. I walked right in there, grabbed a pill bottle and grabbed his sunglasses. He had a pair of Oakleys.
Listen, Tippett, and this is a CO, by the way. Mm-hmm. He was in some kind of car accident. Like he had like a scar or something you could really see, but he was a little slow. Nicest guy though, but slow, right? Didn't bother anybody. I mean, I didn't know he wrote your shot, but
he had to because SIS were trying to come shake me down for poker. I
found
my poker chip. So
he didn't want to bother. He basically wanted to sit in, but he obviously, because he was slow, you didn't necessarily know if it was because he was on fucking opiates, whether he was on the pain pills, or he was just slow, right? Like he was on
Xanax and Roxy.
Oh, he's all fucked, but he was fucked up. Like there were some times he was like,
Did you hear what happened?
Cops, what's going on? You're like, I think he's fucked up. Like he was all fucked up. But they had at Coleman they had a big they had a case. Keep in mind, Jess was there.
Right.
When this is going on.
She was at the women's camp.
Jess will tell you. So when it was a women's camp, and Jess, how the guards were, let's go with with graping. They were graping the female inmates. And Jess is like, the female inmates were fighting. They're getting the fist fights over who's dating the guard. Yeah. Because the guards would bring in stuff. They had
everything.
She said she had this one chick who ended up dying of an overdose. Obviously, she's a pillhead. And she knew her, and Jess is like this chick's walking around eating like lobster. Yeah. Like they're bringing in special foods.
Victoria's Secret panties.
Exactly. And she's banging this fucking guard. But there are some of these guards that are just getting, but then what happens is this one chick comes in, she gets a group of them together. Jess actually got grabbed and brought to the county in an investigation. They're asking her what's going on. She's like, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
They bring her back, and she's like, that's when I start noticing. And the guards would try you. She even talks about this one guard one time they were getting keys for something or getting something, and the guard put his hand on her, and she goes, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. They're going to test the water.
Yeah.
But what Tippett did is Tippett got this little Puerto Rican chick. They say she was bad. She was actually a porn star or whatever.
Right. Well, wait a second. What is that? So eventually one of the girls gets a bunch of the girls together to basically get together and say that these girls are being sexually, or it's basically they're being raped, right? They're being the guards they're doing this, taking advantage of them. They don't want anything to do with it. And technically, let's face it, they are not in a position where they're able to give consent. It is. It's
Absolutely.
right by law.
Yeah.
But
even though
listen,
they're throwing it out of both pant legs.
right? Stop. Yeah, but stop. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what's happening. But these fucking guys are they're in serious fucking. They got serious problems. But anyway, you were saying sorry.
Tippett, they were fixing to indict Tippett because
Yes.
this Puerto Rican chick played up underneath him, starts sucking him off. He's fucking. Well, one day, she sucks him off and spits it on her pant leg. Mm-hmm. The next day, she goes up to the camp administrator and like, hey, look, Tippett's been putting the press on me. He's making me do this, this, and this, or he's going to lock me up. So they're fixing to indict him. And Tippett shoots himself in the parking lot at the Low.
Remember, I mentioned that
on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Because we're sitting there playing poker and everything, and everybody started bitching like, man, the goddamn phones are shut off. And then the computers got shut off. They're like, what the fuck? It's Christmas Day. And then 20 minutes later, here comes the warden, assistant warden, the cat, and we're like, the fuck's going on? It's Christmas Day, and all of them are walking the compound. You never see nobody on holidays like that. You know that.
Right.
Absolutely not. And I mean, there's 15 of them walking. And then one of the cool officers comes around. He's like, yeah, man, Tippett just killed himself out in the parking lot.
Yeah, in the parking lot. Yeah, drove to work.
Shot himself in the stomach, of all places.
Oh, I thought he shot himself in the
stomach.
head.
Shot himself in the stomach with a 40.
What a fucking idiot.
Bled out right there. Like, you know how much pain he probably went through? If you're going to kill yourself, get it done.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I would not. Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and scream. And, fuck that. Yeah, that's what. And guess what? That bitch got an immediate release with $1 million.
Oh, all those girls got paid. Like the payout on.
There's a place
Massive.
that was old trailers. They called it the graveyard. That's where all the chicks used to go and meet the officers to fuck. SIS found out about this through the chicks, so they set up trail cams.
Oh, I don't know.
And they videotaped all this. But the cops, you know what they did? They gave them a chance to retire.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. They didn't get charged.
Yeah. Oh, they're still pushing it. There's still some of these people that are put. So the one chick, remember the one that I said was the
Instigator?
She would. Well, no, not her. The one that was on pills. That Jess
yeah,
was
yeah,
like this chick. Jess knows her name, and everything. I can't remember, but the one that I said is literally, yeah, she's getting panties, she's getting this, she's got a cell phone, she's got everything she wants, she's banging this dude, and when she gets out, she's a member of this whole group. They tried to get Jess to be a member too, because she's like literally some of the girls, they didn't have sex with anybody.
Right.
They're just signing up, saying I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the guys are all denying it anyway. So, anyway, as a matter of fact, Jess did a podcast. And in the podcast, she and another chick talk about it on Danny Jones's. There's actually a podcast about her with her and another girl. So that girl gets out, right? She ends up overdosing. So her father is now saying like the trauma of what these guards did, and he's trying to get some of the guards, still trying to get them charged. They retired.
That's what led to my daughter being ODing.
Except right. Well, how she was on pills to begin with. That's how she got in fucking and she was in prison to begin with. But
Junkie's a junkie. She's gonna OD regardless.
yeah. So
but he's gonna try to press it. I guarantee it.
yeah, poor Tippett. He was harmless.
Tippett was
He's
all
fucking
right, man.
harmless.
He used to bring me food. He'd come in there and he'd have steak or whatever, pork chops. He'd be like, "Hey, you want part of this fucking pork chop?" I'm like, yeah. He'd be like, "Go wash my bowl out." That's like a Willard. Remember Willard?
Yeah.
Willard used to. Oh, he loved me, boy. He'd be like, we get some new ones in. He'd be like, he's all right. He's all right. He'd be like, that one, straight piece of shit.
Yeah, Tippett, when he worked at the Medium, because that's when I met him at
That's
the
when
Medium.
he went off with the lieutenant. He was fixing to fight lieutenant and shit. That's why they banned him from the Medium.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he swung on him.
I didn't know
the
that.
guards broke it up. He wasn't allowed to go back to the Medium.
What I remember is that he would work my cousin's unit in the Medium, and he would come down. He'd be like, "Hey, Reese," he's like, "You got anything to eat up there?" And he'd be like, "What do you need?" He'd say, "You got like a Snickers?" I got
love
Snickers.
candy bars.
Yeah, Snickers. And he'd go get him a couple Snickers. And you could do whatever you wanted to do. Just here. He said, no, just yeah, okay. Because you're in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, no, they had the office, but he would be in like down in the middle, and he'd just put it on the desk, just walk away, just.
And Tippett used to come to me. I'd be in the TV room. He'd be like, "Got anything in your locker? I'm hungry." Like, he said, "I'm gonna go do a cell search." I said, "Get whatever you want out of there," because I knew he wouldn't fuck with me other than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's a lot of them like that. That's just like commissary. When we're at commissary, the guards could eat and drink whatever they wanted because we're gonna make up for it.
Yeah.
When it comes like they did inventory twice a year. So 3 weeks before inventory, we would do a soft count for us. So we might be 64 M&Ms off, 70 Snickers, 40 Reese cups, whatever. Well, instead of getting $2 a list, we're not getting no money. We put everything back into the store, so every list is a candy bar. So, and in no time, because shit, we were doing a ton of lists.
What?
I was doing probably 70, 80 lists a day, at least $2 a day. Man, I was making $800 easy just hustling.
What happened to Commissary Bari? Do you remember her?
She's still around. She went over to the warehouse. Oh yeah, when I was at the camp, she was there.
She was
Little fake titties.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know Miss Vest. Play with it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
She was a little attitude, bro. She fucking scream at people.
That thing was so fucking fat. She hopped up on the counter one day like this, and I was like, Jesus Christ! That thing looked like it opened up like a Time magazine.
What? What was the big girl? Was the Samoan chick? Was she Samoan? What was she? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Lunchbox. Lunchbox. That's what we called her. She was cool as a fan, but that.
Yeah, Cook would be like, bro. He would be like, 2 years off your sentence, would you? No. Come on, 2 years.
I'd be like, how about 5?
Yeah, he goes like, 5. Nobody knows. I'd know. He'd be like, ooh, I'd be all in that. I'd be like, oh.
5 years? I don't care how funky that bitch was. I'd be like, you know what? Line that shit up. Let's go.
What about Big Girl? Do you remember I told you, this is Big Girl. I was like, how big is she cooking? And Cook goes, he was like, couldn't
You're not
touch
touching.
my hand.
You're not touching. Maybe 2 of us might touch. You know whose sister that was?
It was Dave's.
So he's like, hey, bro, my sister's singing. I was like, well, fuck yeah. I've been down like for 6,
Dave
7
is
years.
the one-arm guy?
Yes, one-arm Dave.
I've been down probably 6, 7 years. So I'm like, hell yeah. Let's do this. So we start writing back and forth, talking a little bit. Next thing you know, get a visitation list. And she's like, I'm going to be up there Sunday. I'm like, cool, I get all dudded up, got a little cologne on and shit, fresh cut. I go in there and I'm looking around and I see this chick all by herself. I'm like, damn, she's bad. And all of a sudden, I see this big one. And I was like, oh, shit. I hope that ain't for me. And I keep looking. She's like, I said, motherfucker. I go over and sit down. She's like, first thing, you want something to eat? And I'm like, shocker. I said, yeah. So she started eating this and that. And I was like, damn, boy. I'd been there for like 30 minutes and it felt like about 6 hours. I'm like, how am I going to make it through this visit? You know what I mean? So finally I make it through there and I'm like, man, I just wasn't feeling it. Then she starts shooting the money.
Right.
And I'm like, damn. But she's like, I want to come back next week. And I'm like, okay.
It's horrible.
I remember I lost on a poker table. This is before I started poker table. I lost like $350. I'm like, damn, boy. He's like, I need that money. I was like, you'll get it. I'm thinking I'm fixing to fight this dude. You know what I mean? And I'm on the phone with her. And I'll tell you, yeah, I'm probably fixing to go to the shoe. And I'm down $350. Oh, where do I send it? I'm like, huh? I'll get you the information, babe.
Suddenly it's babe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sweetie.
I threw that babe in quick. No, I'll get the information, babe.
Fucking horrible.
But that's when I opened up my own table, and then it was over. Then I was killing them out there.
This is like he's running
a poker table. So if it's your own table, what are you doing? You taking a percentage?
I cut 10% of every pot. So I give, like, say you come in, flat books on the table were $10 a piece. So
flat book is stamped.
Stamps.
It's a book of stamps worth $10.
Yeah.
So on the compound, if you buy them, they're $8. But on the poker table, I always let them go for 10. So if you brought, just say 20 books, that's $200. I would give you $220 worth of chips. So
And what are you using for chips?
I had cut decks of cards that were cut and marked. I mean, I had some pretty good chips. I had people that were in a leather shop that would make shit because that couldn't be duplicated.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you'd be shocked, dude. These guys are fucking extremely creative.
I mean, I'd spend $200-$300 on a set of chips.
And you're not allowed to play?
No, you're not supposed to.
So what do you do? Just go in someone's cell?
They know.
No, I played right. I had my own table out in the middle of the yard.
Yeah, they know.
Remember when I put wax on it and all that shit?
No.
You don't remember that? When you come out of our unit, the very first one that was right there, you had 2 here and 2 here. Mm-hmm. This one was my table. Everybody knew because I had waxed the table and the seats. Because in the summer it rains every afternoon. Mm-hmm. It may rain for 5 minutes or may rain for an hour, but it's going to rain. So if it would rain, it'd take forever to dry the tables off. You'd have to lay a garbage bag on, then lay the towels or blanket back down.
Right.
Not me. I'd go out there and wipe the motherfucker down and lay the blanket down. We're playing again. But when it rained real hard, you could tell because the table looked white from the wax. All the other tables just solid concrete. That one was white. And you're like, yeah, that's Cook's.
So when you run the table, do you play as well, or are you just taking the rake?
Absolutely. No, I'm playing. That's see, they want you to play because, I can never go all in. So if this guy's got $100 worth of chips, this guy's got $200 worth of chips, this guy's got $1,200 worth of chips. If he calls, he goes all in. If I call, I have to call him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and some of them would try to muscle me around the table, but I'm pretty good at reading cards. And the most I ever made one day was 4,800, and that was pretty good for in prison.
This is prison.
That was a good day.
He also knew, Frank. When I talk about Frank walking around,
Amadeo. I will kill your entire village. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, don't you question me. I said, Frank, I got a question about some legal work, man. He's, don't you question. I'll kill your entire. I'll burn them all. I was like, yeah, whatever. Who was it that slapped him? Chop.
And then the fucking this. I was right there when that fucking happened. So Frank's talking to this guy, Chop. He was a Puerto Rican guy, bit overweight. Was my cellie at one point.
A bit? Is that what you said? A bit overweight?
No,
I was gonna say, goddamn, he looked like big girl.
Did I say a bit? No, he was. Did I? Oh, okay, yeah. He was overweight. Definitely overweight. Way overweight. And he had sleep apnea.
I remember that.
He put that fucking thing on.
Sound like Darth Vader.
And then it'd fall off in the middle of the night. I'd have to fucking roll over and be like, Chop. I'd have to bang the thing. He'd, and it'd be, and he'd have to put it back on. But he gets into an argument with Frank. Frank ends up telling him something about this is what's wrong with your. I forget what fucking gang it was.
He was Latin King.
Latin King. This is why you got. Frank made some kind of crack about the Latin Kings, and fucking Chop. Pow! Smacks him, and I mean he stumbles back.
Paperwork flies all up
Immediately. Frank's got this big Jamaican guy, and I mean this guy's like 6 foot fucking too. He's massive.
He's a big dude.
He jumps up and starts running, and Frank jumps up and is like, whoa, stop that! Like stops him. It's Dominic too. Dominic. Donovan also jumped up. Like Pete and I, all of us were like, holy shit! Like we're not going to do anything. But Donovan's headed over there, and the big Jamaican's headed over there. And so Chop immediately hauls ass. Yeah. Then the Jamaican follows Chop up to the fucking unit, and Frank's like, no, don't do anything. But yeah, he got smacked. He
slapped him pretty good, too.
Yeah. They fucking watched that Deadliest Catch and these fucking fishing shows all the fucking time, or Gold Rush, or, I mean, just
used to drive
miserable.
Nuts. He hated it.
Miserable.
Walk in, grab his chair and fucking bam, 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 haul ass out the door and slam the door.
Walk right in. We're watching something. Walk right. Deadly Catches on. Click, and you're like,
I was a dick. Now that I look back on it, I was a dick. But I mean, there were some of them dudes in there I just didn't like, man.
Oh, I know.
I couldn't stand like Billy.
Billy, you fucking tortured Billy. Not poor Billy. He's a douchebag.
Fuck that child.
But he fucking. Oh my God! When you ordered his fucking Billy was. I've actually talked about Billy. Remember I said the guy that walked up behind me and bitch slapped me because I made.
I was in there for that. Yeah, I was in there for that. Remember, it was only us three in the day room. No, Red Bull was there too. You know who told on you, right?
Oh, you serious?
Red Bull went around. I didn't know this till later. Red Bull went around to B3 and told fucking. It wasn't Willard. It was one of the other cops that Billy had just slapped the shit out of you.
That's fucking
because remember,
funny.
We're still sitting in the TV room, and he comes and knocks on the window and points you and did like this. The officer did.
Right. Yeah.
That's because fucking Red Bull went around there because he hated fucking Billy so much, and I don't know if you guys were beefing or not. I didn't.
The only reason Billy said anything is some fucking chick came on TV.
You said, "Oh, she's too old for you."
Real quick. Yeah. For the audience who hasn't seen the other episodes or heard that story before, just quickly explain it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in the TV room. We walk in, and this was like a Sunday morning, and we walk in. Was it Saturday morning? Sunday morning.
It was right after, not long after 4 o'clock count. The yard was open.
No. This was in the morning when he slapped me. It was in the morning. It was definitely in the morning because they were playing.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. You're right.
They were playing country music, whatever, the top 50 fucking or
top
20, whatever.
That's what you're right.
And we're watching, and there's a chick walking down. And Billy, and I remember what he said because it was just like such a fucking creepy, weird shit that he would say. Yeah. And it was some chick, and we're just watching the song, and she's walking on a beach, and she's in like a fucking bathing suit or a thong or something.
She's like 20 years old.
Yeah. And he looks up, he's like, "You wouldn't know what to do with that, would you, Cox?" And I went, "Shit, I got a better chance of hitting that than you do." And he's sitting behind me, and he goes, and he says, shit, I want to fuck something. I'll knock you out and fuck you. And I said, I'm a little bit old for you, aren't I? I said, plus I got my high school diploma. And next thing I know, bam, he just jumped up and bitch slapped me right in the face.
Yeah.
Half my fucking eyeballs now is bloody. I didn't know it.
He slapped you. He slapped you hard.
Oh, he slapped the piss out
It
of me.
sounded like a 22 going off in that room.
I thought, what I thought happened, that's why I kind of stumbled forward and I actually looked down. I thought, you know how you walk in with your chair on your head? I thought somebody had dropped their chair on me by accident. And I'm like, and then I look up and he's standing there, and that's when I realized, oh, this motherfucker just hit me. So I start yelling at him. He yells at me. He turns around. He storms off. Then I storm. Oh, no, and then I sat back down.
You sat down.
What was his name? Oh shit, I forget. Remember the bald head? He was there for kidnapping. Oh fuck.
Oh yeah. Paul, whatever. He's
Yeah,
the Greek.
the
Greek.
We used to say his name. It was a long last name, Kakalotopus.
Yeah, we call him Greek.
Yeah,
though.
we
Remember?
called him Greek.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he goes, "You okay?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he goes, "No, you're not fine, bro." He said, "Go look in the mirror." And I was like, "What?" I go and I look in the mirror. Half my fucking eyeballs, bloodshot red, not red, blood.
Yeah,
It's what do they call that?
It busted blood vessels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh fuck!" And then they did all of count. Well, then whole day I'm basically avoiding people, or avoiding the COs. And then that night, right after count,
Yeah.
the fucking cops, they called Billy in, and then they called it. And then I think either they called me or I walked into the TV room,
And that's when he knocked.
and he
on-
walked over and knocked on the thing and said, "Come here." And I walked in,
Yeah.
and Billy's standing in there, and he's like, "Yeah." But you're saying Red Bull was the one that went and said something?
1,000%.
That's funny. That's funny.
But what was funny is when Billy talked all that shit. 'Cause remember, wasn't no chomos, wasn't no pieces of shit supposed to be in the TV room.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in my little corner spot, and that fucking chomo comes and sits in the chair. And I said, "What the fuck you doing? Get the fuck out of here." He's like, "Oh, Billy." I said, "I don't give a fuck what Billy said. Get out of here." So that's when I went to Billy, and I'm like, "Man, what are you doing letting that piece of shit?" He's like, "Oh, I'm not on that anymore." I said, "Fuck, boy, you're suspect. You know, you're suspect."
So Billy was constantly rats, talking about rats, and talking about fucking chos. Constantly. The whole time he was there.
Yeah.
He's talking shit to him, chasing him around, accusing everybody. And then this happens. And then
that set it off for me. I was like, "Hold on, man." I go to this little chick. I'm like, "Hey, do me a favor. Look this dude up. Go to the Florida Sex Offender website." I go back like an hour and a half later. There's a paragraph. I didn't even finish it. I just hit print. Boop. And he's sweating with the natives now. You know, he's like, so
Yeah.
he's out there sitting in a little teepee and all that shit. So, you know, I went straight to Joe, which was the head dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Hey, man, not for nothing. This is what you're sweating with, you know?" And he's like, he starts reading. He looks up at me. I said, "Listen, don't take my word for it. Have your people go to the website themselves." So, needless to say.
I feel like, didn't you make copies? Didn't you?
Oh,
No?
flyers? That's what Billy said.
Oh, I always
Because
thought,
Carrie,
okay.
the counselor, 'cause, you know, they were
Yeah.
close, Billy.
Yeah.
The counselor's the one that got all that shit riled up. Because like two days later at 5 o'clock in the morning, they wake me up and said, "Hey, you got to go to SIS. You got to go
Right.
to the lieutenant's office." I'm like, "Fuck, man." And Bulldog was there.
Oh, God, he was such a dick.
I remember he knows me from state prison, going through Lake Butler. So he's like, "Goddamn, get in here, Cook." And I said, "What's going on, Bulldog?" He said, "Man, what kind of shit are you doing, man?" I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You're making up flyers and shit passing by." I said, "I didn't make up no flyers." He said, "Well, tell me what happened." So I said, "All right, listen. I'm eating with this dude. I'm walking with this dude, and a couple people say, 'Hey, man, watch your company.' I'm like, what do you mean, you know?" So I had my girl look him up on the website, and hey, he's a diddler. I mean, he's a diaper sniper. You know what I mean? He's messing with kids. So
Yeah. He was. He's a registered. He's on the website. I had heard that Cook found that out, and that had got, because you know you can hit print. You can print out like a whole little sheet on somebody on that website. So it tells basically what their charges are, picture of them, their charges the whole time, where they live, everything.
Absolutely.
And I had heard that you printed that, had that somebody print that out, and somehow or another got it mailed in. You made copies and you were passing it out. That's what I'd heard.
that's what Carrie said to try to get me booked.
I like that version better.
No, I just kept that one I printed. I went and showed Joe, and then I went and showed about probably 30 other people.
Right.
And then I ripped up and flushed it.
Okay.
So just because, for that reason.
Yeah.
But obviously they could tell that I printed it off my computer. But so Bulldog asked me what happened. I said, "Listen, man, I'm eating with this dude." I made it sound good. You know, I'm sitting
Yeah.
in the chow hall with this guy, which you know I didn't fucking say that dude. Anyway,
And the cops all hate him anyway.
Yeah,
right?
they couldn't
all those
stand
guys.
him, you
Yeah.
know,
Well,
'cause-
not just him. In general,
yeah,
they're
they can't stand any kind of diaper sniper, any kind of diddlers. They can't stand them. So after that happened, he goes to sweat the next day. And Joe and him, he's sitting on the bucket, and Joe kicks the bucket out from underneath him. He's like, man, what the fuck is this? Why didn't I know this? He's like, oh, it's not what you think, man. She was 15 and I was 36. And, you know, yeah, I ended up marrying her.
Yeah, it sounds like it's exactly what I think.
Yeah, bro, there's no excuse. She's 15, you're 36. You can't tell me any which way story you tell me isn't cool.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck who it is. You know what I mean? We're not back in 1814.
Right.
We're not across seas somewhere. We're here, you know? So he starts saying, you know, what about these flyers you made? I said, flyers? I didn't make any flyers. He's like, well, I see you print. I said, yeah, I copied it off my computer, and I went and showed a couple people because, I mean, I feel it's right. I said, it's public information.
Yeah.
I didn't go in his locker and look at his paperwork or anything. And he said, God damn it, Cook. He said, man, you know how easy it is to ship you compared to 1,000 of them? Mm-hmm. And I said, 1,000? He said, yeah. There was 1,400 people on the compound at the time. No, 1,600. There was 1,600. He said, it's a lot easier to ship you than it is 1,000 of them. Mm-hmm. So that was like, God damn, there's that many of them people in there? He says, I'm not going to book, he said, but I'll tell you one thing. You got one more time. He said, you mess with any of my offenders, I'm going to give you so much diesel therapy, you'll have lung cancer by the time you get off the bus. And he said, do I make myself clear? I said, crystal. He said, get the fuck out of here.
He didn't, by the way, because Cook kept fucking with him, and they ended up shipping him.
I did.
Listen, they shipped him, and then like a year and a half later, they shipped him back.
He hated it. Well, they hated it. They're all like, oh my God,
This
Cook's back.
motherfucker's back. The whole little fucking group, like, they all rush into Boykin's. They all rush into Boykin's room, and they're like,
Remember when they wrote that big statement on me? They had like 4 pages, and they went to lieutenant at mainline.
oh yeah, they're
It backfired on them though, because they were going to get him for group demonstration.
oh
Because you know, SIS, officers are just like us. They hate sex offenders. You know
Right.
what I mean? They got kids, they got families and
Yeah.
shit. So, and next thing you know, they're like, Cook, report to SIS. I was like, oh shit. You know, I was working commissary at the time.
right.
My boss was like, what the fuck you do now, man? I said, nothing. He's like, yeah, right. Likely story. I go over there and they're like, you know, what's going on here? I said, what do you mean? And he shows me this 4-page letter. And I saw him go up to the officer in chow hall, but I wasn't paying attention because it was like 4 or 5 of them that went up to him. They're saying I was putting the press on him. I wasn't letting him in the TV room. I wasn't letting him eat.
All true.
Yeah.
Except for probably the eating part.
Yeah. And it was right when that little redhead was in our unit. Came and sat in there, and I smashed that ice cream in his face because he's sitting there eating. I said, man, get the fuck out of here. He's like, I ain't got to get up and go nowhere. I said, man, you people don't come in this TV room. Get the fuck out of here. He's like, you don't run nothing. That's why I just smashed that ice cream in his face.
Which one was this?
He was redhead. The Puerto Ricans were fucking the air out of him back there in the unit. He used to hang out with Phil.
There was a few
He was a Christian
redheads.
dude from Tennessee. He was like some famous musician. He played the piano and all kinds of shit. He had records and all kinds of stuff.
I can't remember.
Oh,
because I knew because there were multiple redhead guys in there.
There
But
were.
Was he tall or was he a little
tall
guy?
and skinny.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about. I know. I was in the holdover with him. I think I know. He got skin cancer several times. Real white, real pale
Yes,
white.
That's him.
Because that's not hard if you have red hair. Obviously, you're pale, right? But anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, they were fucking the air out of him back there. They had goddamn looked like McDonald's drive-through.
I'm trying to think of some other people that you would know that have been on the show that the audience would know.
I knew JJ.
Oh yeah, Boziak.
Bosiak.
Yeah. So what was he like?
Quiet as a church mouse.
Yeah. And this is what's funny too is that we'd be in the TV room. Keep in mind, he's got no time. He's just waiting to go to halfway house, and Cook and somebody else would start to argue. They're not going to do anything, but they're bickering back and forth. Like if you hadn't been there long enough, you think this may come to blows because they're getting loud.
He'd get up.
He'd get up and bolt. And so one time I even said, I noticed that every time they start to argue, you take off. He's like, man, I'm so close to the door. I can't be involved in any fucking. I can't go to the shoe. I just want to get out of here. Just want to go to the fucking halfway
It's the only person I ever heard of got tattoos so he could look tough on his bid. Before he got to prison.
He's in Bangkok right now.
They're probably getting Bangkok.
Stop.
Just saying.
Stop.
Nah, he's probably got some little fucking 19-year-old over there.
He's got a
Boy.
yeah. Stop.
I'm just joking.
God, see, this is what I'm saying. Nonstop.
I'm just joking. He was all right. I didn't have nothing against him.
No,
He was all right.
Actually has a girl. He'll get a girlfriend.
What's his name?
He'll get a girlfriend. 2 weeks later or a month later, I'm like, hey, whatever happened with the girl? How's that going? Oh, no. I got a new one. Because that's the whole thing that you're basically, they're desperate to just be, and Americans here, they're all over him. He's like, oh, you walk out the door.
They think they're going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Until he's like, you little bitch, do my laundry. I want you to clean the house.
You said Dulcie played at your poker table?
A lot of people did. And listen, if my poker table was the biggest and longest running poker table there, for sure, hands down. But I never did no credit. It was COD. If you didn't have the stamps, you shouldn't be playing poker. That's just how it was. Because a lot of people, they'll run up a debt and then they'll go tell SIS and check in, and then you're hot. Then they're on your line, they're sweating and shit. That's why I'll never forget one time. Pack just came in, right? And there was 100 strips I was getting at lunchtime. And another dude owed me 50 books. I go to lunch.
Strips or sabots?
Sabat, yeah. I get the pack. I get the stamps. I come out the door. Got the warden, assistant warden, captain, all the SIS. And I went to early child because I worked commissary. So there wasn't many people. When I come out to child, Cook, come here. There's SIS. My nuts went in my throat. I'm like, fuck, did they see? So I'm thinking, did they see the handoff? Whatever, because it was under the table. He says, how'd you do last night? How'd the table do? I was like, oh, man, I made like three books, you know what I mean? He's like, 3 books? I said, yeah, it was slow. He's like, 3 books my ass. How many did you make for real? I said, all right, 20. And he started laughing. Like, that's more like it. I said, it was still sort of slow. But the whole time, I'm just fucking, I'm like, man, this motherfucker pats me down. I'm toast. And he's like, well, one thing about it, no one ever checks in or nothing on your table, He said, that's the only reason we don't fuck with you. I said, listen, man, I'm just trying to make a living. I'm just trying to eat a couple soups. You know what I mean? I said, see y'all later. Peeled out. I was shaking like Don Knotts, boy. That was close. I thought I was hit on that one.
I gotta go to the bathroom again, bro. How do you not have to go to the fucking bathroom?
Because I'm used to it. I'm a man.
Do you see that? Non-fucking stop.
I got out April 18th
Yeah.
from the halfway house.
How much halfway house did you get?
10 months, 10 and a half. And I didn't go on, I didn't even get one home visit because they wouldn't approve it. They fucked up my paperwork back to back. So I was just like, all right, bet. So I just started getting my own. My bosses were cool. I did whatever the fuck I wanted to. I worked 6 days a week because they made us take 1 day off a week that we had at the halfway house.
Yeah.
So I'd leave there at 6:15 in the morning. I got back at 8:45 at night, 6 days a week. I'd get off work at 6, so I had 2 hours and 45 minutes to go lay up with my old lady, which lives 7 minutes from where I worked. So she would pick me up at 6:15. I didn't have to be to work till 8. I would go hang out with her in the morning. Then I come back for an hour at lunch, and then I had 2.5 hours every evening.
So you got 7 minutes there, 7 minutes back. So you'd be gone a total of
A couple hours.
20 minutes.
Hey, I built up stamina.
Yeah, I was gonna say I did all 7 months too, but I wanted to because I wanted to save that. Everybody bitched and moaned, I will go home and fuck this place, bro. I'm saving money. I'm saving money. So what are you doing now? What are the plans? What are your plans?
I'd like to be like you, Matt.
Yeah. See,
Let me stroke you. I wanted to do my own business doing mobile detailing.
Right.
But probation sort of put a damper on that. She wasn't happy.
Right.
Because it wasn't on the books and 100%. And listen, I didn't have the money to get insurance and this and that. I mean, I was making good money though. I mean, I was doing 4 or 5 cars a week, 150, 200 bucks a pop. I was making a living. I wasn't knocking it out of the park, but it was my own thing.
Right.
And I could have built it up. And I mean, I got a card. Damn, I don't even know if I brought one with me. It's good. It's Stop Riding Dirty Mobile Detailing. I mean, come on. How classic is that? You know what I mean? I don't think I got any with me. I'll have to, I got a website on Facebook. So
Okay.
That's all. But you can look it up on there. I got before and afters and everything.
But
I do good work, but it's just, I'm getting old, man. I can't do all that physical shit anymore. And I'll be 50 in November. And I didn't put anything up before. I didn't pay taxes on nothing,
Right.
I wasn't looking toward the future. Now I'm like, God damn, you dumbass,
Oh, when you're doing it, you don't think you're gonna get caught. You don't think you're gonna.
I mean, I always had that 25 at my mom's, and I had a couple other things just for emergency money.
Right.
But you know, when I got knocked off, that chick I was with, she fucked me hard, boy. I mean, she didn't spin on it. She didn't tell me she loved me, nothing. She just straight right in the shitter. So, but you know, karma's a motherfucker. So she lost everything.
So we're trying to get you to start a channel.
That'd be awesome.
You know.
And I think I
with
got
the smart ass comments and the slick fucking little right. Do you think? What do you think?
Yeah. I was telling him on break. I was like, you got the personality, the quick witness, you know, the jokes. It's just the biggest thing is what we tell everybody is the consistency.
Yeah.
You need to stick a plan. I'm gonna post 2 times a week, and I'm gonna stick to that and do that for a year.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that year, I need to be okay with whatever the result is, but you just need to do it. You know what I mean?
Give myself a year.
Give yourself
be dedicated.
a legit chance. You know what I
Because
mean?
let's face it, if in a year from now, the channel's making, you know, $1,000 or $2,000, and you think, oh fuck that, wait a minute,
That's $1,000 that you didn't have.
right? Another year, that might be $10,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? At
In
least
the grand scheme of things,
Right.
it's money coming in.
that was the whole thing with Zach. It's like, look, you're seeing that my buddy Zach, who you're seeing that it's working. You can see that it worked. Like to me, if I can just see that it works, well, now it's just a matter of that. Let's add some zeros. We just got to.
Your eyes aren't red. Your
Is
left
it?
one. Your left one.
This one?
Yeah. It's red as shit looking. Other side. Yep. On this side. But I'm saying not like up close right here, but over here
Right.
it looks red.
I don't know. I
Maybe
didn't
it's
do it.
just.
Might be
Did
the
somebody
glow.
slap you out there in the hall? I don't even,
See? Fucking, I was thinking, oh.
he's over there digging and shit. Oh. You know,
Yeah, I'm trying to help him.
Yeah.
You know? That's just, you just can't, look, you just can't.
I appreciate it too.
Yeah.
I do. Honestly.
Yeah, you got to just start doing it. You just come up with a simple way to start the process and just start interviewing people and putting out content and get it monetized, and then just kick back and wait, and then get on people's programs. And that shouldn't be hard. That shouldn't be hard.
I'm going to find that dude's name and I'm going to send it to you on Facebook, and you're going to be like, oh my God, you're right.
Oh, listen,
and
people-
he's on there all the time. And I'm like, man, who the fuck is watching this kook? You know what I mean?
People watch all kinds of stuff.
Oh, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard when I see him, because he's like, yeah, when I was in USP, and man, shut the fuck up, man. You look like a clown. You know what I mean?
Well, then don't do that content. Do something that you like. You
I'm
figure it
gonna.
out.
I would clown. I love clowning on people like that. You know that, but I know I don't. I should go a different route.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, it's probably not the best.
I need to find my lane, and I mean, joking and having that's what I'm good at. You know, being slick and
And the thing is, you're not gonna know what works and find what works without just doing it over and over again. Like we didn't know what a good video was until we made 100.
Right.
You know, like, and after we do 100, like, okay, this type of content works better. Let's get more of this.
Works for us.
now you know what people
for
like.
us.
Right.
Yeah.
Your crowd.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Like a video that we post of a guest, we know, oh, this guest will do okay, maybe 30, 40,000. But we
Right.
know if he goes on another show that focuses on this, they might do 100, 200,
Right.
and vice versa. It just kind of depends on the audience that you kind of build and
get
then
it.
what they're coming
Yeah,
for.
like if somebody goes, if they want to just talk about prison on this show, it's not going to do well.
Right.
Like these guys, the guys that are, he's not, the guy that's driving the forklift is not watching this show to talk about gang fights and riots and politics. He's not watching this show. He's watching this show to figure out that some guy started doing karting, and here's how he started slowly with gift cards, and then he bought the MSR, whatever it is,
And next,
206.
he's got 3,000 identities he can use.
Right, and so he slowly built, and that's what they want to hear. By the time when you get to prison, a lot of these guys are like, okay, well, I'm good. Like, I don't want to hear about. I can see there's another 20 minutes about prison. I'm not that interested in prison.
Right.
They might watch it, but a lot of them are like, it's not really my thing. Especially if the guy suddenly turns. So first day I had to shank somebody. Like, oh, stop, bro.
Yeah, you didn't shank nothing but your ass. Yeah, that's like people want to hear about money,
Yeah.
guns, women.
On this channel,
Yeah.
There's other channels that it's nothing but prison. That's all they want to hear about. Those guys don't want to listen to my shit.
Right.
They're like, I'm not interested in that. I want to hear about prison politics, and that's great. So you just got to figure out what works for you, and like, okay, this is what works for me and my interview style, and then you just mass produce it.
So, like, say if I wanted to interview somebody, how would I go about that? Zoom?
I'm gonna show you.
Okay.
We're gonna pull up I got the computer and everything. I'm gonna show
I
you
would
right now.
I would start with at least posting twice a week, one interview with someone you know, and then one story that you're telling on your own. At least 30 minutes, if not 45 minutes to an hour, and just do that. And you can even tell the stretched out version of your story that you told here today. You tell that on your own channel, part 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 25. So that
there's
gives
a
you
lot.
a video.
There's a lot that I didn't put into. I mean, there's all kinds of stories. You
Well,
know
you could
that, but
you could sit down one day and just do bullet points. Story about mom and dad, whatever. That's it.
Right.
You don't say anything else. That's it. That's an episode. Another one, story about first time. I did this or what. Okay.
like when I got robbed, the dude, I was selling dope for this dude, and I was like, just turned 17. This is before the home invasion and shit. I was messing with this older biker guy out of the forest, and I was messing with his stepdaughter. Well, he was fronting me an ounce of powder, then 2 ounces. Well, somebody went in his house and robbed him when he was on vacation. He thought it was me. So his little bodyguard dude named Wally, they catch me slipping at this payphone. I mean, just rocked me and dropped me and tied me up and threw me in the trunk. They bring me out in the middle of the forest and beat my ass, and they got a shovel, and they're like, we're going to fucking bury you. This ain't the spot, though. And they throw me back in the trunk. And I hear them, and this is a Cadillac. I'll never forget. I'm in the trunk of this motherfucker listening to them, and they're talking about where they want to bury me. They're going over different spots, like out in Ocklawaha, Fort McCoy, in the forest. I'm back there going, man, I didn't even do this shit, which I really didn't.
Right.
So they did the dumbest thing they could have. They pull up to this chick's house and go inside, and they leave the keys in the ignition. Well, you know how you got in the back seat, you got the arm thing that folds down?
Yeah.
Well, it's nothing but cloth. I'm 130 pounds. Right? I
Right.
mean, I'm skinny as... I rip through there and get up in there and start the car and take off. What do you think I did? I went and robbed him for real. I go to his house, and I called text his beeper. He calls right back, and I'm in his house. He calls. I said, "What's up, buddy?" He's like, "You motherfucker." I said, "You want to play games?" I said, "Your wife and your kid's here." His young son. "Don't you touch my family." I said, "I'm telling you, I didn't rob you, John." I said, "But I'm going to show you what happens when I do rob you." And I took everything he had. I took camcorders. I took jewelry, 10 pounds of trees, $13,000 in cash. And his mom and dad's house was right around the corner. And I know that's where he used to hide a bunch of his dope because they were never there. They always stayed out of town. So I went and threw a dog food can through the window, busted the window, lifted up, went in there, and sure enough, I opened up the stove where he always kept it. And there was half a brick of powder, some money, and then he had one of them 5-gallon water jugs, slap full of change, all silver. Appreciate you. It was $5,000 in that. And he had a brand new Taurus 9mm sitting on top of the TV. I said, "Oh, let me get that too."
How do you forget that story?
There's so many of those. Listen,
Right.
I mean, there's. Then I got, dude, we hit a lick for some guns one time. And this dude, Billy, he calls his buddy Spencer. Spencer's sister is dating black guys. So I don't know, but his brother-in-law is with him. I'm on the phone, not paying no attention. They come in his house, and they're already strapped. Got shotguns, dude got a pistol. All of a sudden, I feel a kick in my back. I'm on the ground, and they just start kicking me. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, what the fuck? And the dude I was talking to, the phone's sitting there, he heard the whole thing. Because after it's all said and done, I come back inside because they beat our ass, they got the guns, and he's like, "Get the fuck up, E." He's like, "I'm going to kill you." I said, "Man, I ain't got nothing." Boom, he kicks me. He said, "Get up." So he walks me and dude Billy out front of this place. He said, "Get on your knees." I'm like this. And I hear him rack the shotgun. And he kicked me in the back again. And he's standing right over top of me because he's got his foot on the back of my fucking neck. And he's like, "I should blow your fucking head off."
Ooh.
Just like that.
Why?
Huh? He didn't like me. He didn't like me.
So
That was.
I would write one after another, and then because think about how much
tell you a bunch of those.
how much content you have. Like if you took 2 or 3 of those that were 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, whatever. Let's say it's at least a 30-minute episode, and you do that. Here's one, chronologically, kind of go through the your whole kind of story, and then. You can do everything from the first time your lawyer comes. Like we didn't go into details. Your lawyer comes in, sits down, and he says this, and I say that. We had this whole talk. You can explain that
Hours.
whole thing,
right? Matt's 20 hours, 20-hour video that was split up into 50, 40, 50 parts. So it's like,
and then we jam it all together. So we play them individually. Boom,
Right.
You're just releasing them, and we're randomly releasing them. If I was you, it'd be one a week,
every Wednesday.
right? And then you'd also interview somebody once a week, and let's say that goes for couple of months, and then you can take that whole thing and you shove it together. You stick it in what's called a playlist. So then it's just back. Somebody can click on it and it just plays those same videos back to back to back to back to back.
Do you remember Ricky Bobby? Little short. Hey guys, I used to hang out with Nick and WW a lot. Real short little motherfucker.
I'm sure if I saw him,
he's around. I talked to him quite a bit.
You could interview, all of these guys.
I got quite a few. I could interview Nick.
Look, you can pilfer my entire list. I'll give you the phone numbers for everybody to call.
I think one of my biggest ones that people would want to see is Jack Milwaukee.
Oh, okay.
With the
Yeah, but
Outlaws.
here's the problem is.
I don't know if he will though.
Well, here's the problem is that initially you're doing it, you're just trying to get content.
Right.
Like if you came out of the gate with some huge, great, amazing
Exactly.
video, does it matter?
That's my ace in the hole. Yeah.
Right. I'm saying nobody's going to watch it because it's one of the first 4 videos. These are videos where 16 people are watching.
Right.
You're just trying to get some content. Then once you got a chunk of a couple months of content and you're monetized, you start going on other people's channels. You start telling your story on other people's channels. And when they say, hey, what are you doing now? So, well, I actually just started a YouTube channel about a couple months ago. So I really appreciate everybody just go and click on there and just subscribe. Like I really need subscribers. I've got a lot of great content. That's it. You don't have to push it. And people will go in the description. They'll go in the description box and they'll click on it and they'll watch it because they've heard your story and they get invested in you and your kind of I hate to say, comeback story, turnaround story of redemption, whatever somebody wants to label it. But what happens is they hear your whole story and they know you're getting out and you're saying, hey, man, I'm almost 50. I can't do this anymore. And this is something I think I can do. And I think I'd be good at this.
Right. This is something I know about. It's something that I heard. It's something I experienced. I've actually been through it. A lot of people go about a story they heard, but this shit that I've lived through, luckily.
Hey, you guys, I appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified of videos just like this. Also, please share the video. If you want to follow Cook on Facebook or any of his social medias, go into the description box. We're going to leave the links in there and click it. And also, at some point when he does have a channel, we're going to leave the channel link in there for YouTube. So you can click on that. You can go there and you can subscribe and listen and see his interviews and his story. And please consider joining our Patreon. It's $10 a month, and it really does help Colby and I make videos just like this. Thank you very much. See ya.